Hey everybody, welcome to Alice is Missing. My name is Spencer Stark. I'm the designer, and I am so excited to have an incredible cast with us tonight. I want to make sure we go around and introduce ourselves. Again, I'm Spencer. I use he, him pronouns. Let's go down the line with, let's start with B.
Right. Hello, hello. My name is B Zelda. My pronouns are they, them. If you are so inclined and you don't know a single thing about me, give me a follow on Twitter as at B_Zelda. I'm a just sometimes busy person, which is what brings me here to continue the schedule of constant busyness and constant emotional vulnerability.
And if you hear a dog in the background, my dogs are trapped in this room with me today because right before this stream, I went outside and found a stray dog. So they are going to stay in here with me. So if you hear them, I apologize.
Living the dream.
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. Mika, let's jump over to you.
Great. I am Mika. You can find me on anything as RIP Mika. I've been in the TTRPG community for several years now, and I love playing, GMing, just being a part of any sort of theatrical performance possible.
Love it. And Mika was actually in the very first playtest of this game that ever happened. So very excited to have her here today. Michelle, let's jump to you.
Hey, I'm Michelle Wynn Bradley. I am usually on Hunter's Entertainment Channel on Tuesdays. You might have seen me getting murdered on Outbreak Undead. It's been very fun, very stressful. You can also see me on Thursdays at Dragons and Things. I'm playing a very cool, tough witch figuring out mysteries in Victorian England on Thursday afternoons, and it's very fun. And that's what I do.
Amazing. And Joven.
The Jovenshire here, ready to play a game that I've never played before. I'm being told that it's going to take a lot of an emotional capacity that I will have to dig deep to find, but I think that I'm ready for it. I do all things geek culture, so superheroes, video games, comics, TV shows, and especially board games. So let's have at it.
I love it. I love it. Well, in case you're tuned in and don't know what the game we're playing is, I'm just going to give everybody a brief overview. So this is Alice is Missing. Alice is Missing is a silent role-playing game about the disappearance of Alice Briarwood, who's a high school junior in the sleepy Northern California town of Silent Falls. And during the game, we'll be using messaging service to send messages to one another as we unearth clues about what happened to Alice. So we will not be speaking in character during the game. We will instead be sending messages to each other. So that's sort of the concept of the game itself, which might sound weird to be doing a stream of a silent game. But, oh, buddy, I know, he's so sad. It might sound weird to be doing that on stream, but you'll see as we get into it, you'll be able to track the conversations as they go back and forth between us. And we'll sort of talk about how best to view that as an audience member when we get there. But I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to jump into Roll20, and we are going to do our intro card. That's going to be setting up the game for us to sort of let us know what, how our game begins, right? How the whole thing kind of begins. So I'm going to flip that card really quick and make it nice and big so everybody can read it. Oh, you know what? My Roll20 is acting strange. Let me refresh it really quick. We've got a lot of windows open to be able to do this game. It is a technical masterpiece on JB's side. Okay, here we go. So Silent Falls is a small coastal forest town in the heart of Northern California. It's quiet here, and since the recession a few years ago, people are not as friendly as they used to be. It's been a rough few years for everyone. The major high school in town, Franklin Academy, lies nestled in the wooded hills on the east side. It's the last day before winter break, and students shuffle down the hallways, dusting off a light powder of snow from their jackets. It's cold today. Down the main corridor, past the barren trophy case and peeling Franklin Academy decal plastered on the wall, hangs a bulletin board. A cluster of students are gathered at it, and around the edges we see old posters for student body elections, sign-ups for football next year, and reminders about the upcoming senior ball littered about like mousetraps. But as the students part, we land on the flyer they were all huddling around. That is when we'd normally be pulling our Alice is Missing poster. We've already done that. That poster is right here for all of us to see. We've all already seen this here as players, but this is what our Alice looks like for you at home. So we're gonna go through character creation now, kind of go through what we've already established and then create relationships and do things to sort of tie our characters together here. So I'm actually gonna move everybody to the next screen this is our character creation screen. You're going to see we have 5 characters here and 5 motives here. Go ahead and grab your character and your motive card that's right below it. So I'm going to grab Charlie. So the way that you'll do that is you'll right click on the card in Roll20 and then hit take card. If anybody has an issue with trying to take their cards, let me know.
The height of technology, and I'm so proud to be here right now. It's amazing.
Love it. Okay, make sure you take your motive card that was below your character card as well.
Oh,
they're face up, so you can, if you don't remember where your character was, you can look and see at the motives.
It's too small and I can't read which one. I can't remember.
The one on the left is anytime controversial or negative things are brought up about Alice, leap to her defense.
Okay, that's me. Okay, got it.
Great.
Sorry.
So take the one on the far left. And then Evan, I think yours is yours is the one that's left. Yeah, the one to find the blame. Great, perfect. Okay, so I think the first thing we should do is I'm going to teach you sort of how to navigate this window so that you know how to get access to your cards. So on the left, sorry, on the bottom of the screen, you'll see your 2 cards are in sort of your hand there. If you click on those, they'll pop up. Make sure they're sorted by deck. If you sort them by deck, you'll see that it divides them off. That's going to be useful for us later. And if you click on those cards, they'll pop up nice and big on your screen. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, great. So I'm going to start and introduce Charlie. I'm going to do a little bit of a character intro and then also read my background question. So Charlie's the only one because I'll be facilitating the game. I'll be playing Charlie Barnes, and which is sort of the role the facilitator generally takes. And I'm the only one who has kind of a built-in background in a way that sort of establishes how this character comes into the moment when we start the game. So Charlie Barnes moved away from Silent Falls with their mom at the end of the last school year after their parents divorced. They just arrived in town to stay with their dad for winter break, and they hope to see Alice and the others while they're here. A few days ago, Alice stopped responding. They haven't heard from her since. So I am the one who moved away. That is my character archetype. So I basically moved away from Silent Falls last year. I'm coming back to visit. I see Charlie as being taller with like messy red hair, and he's got freckles and glasses. He was a big theater kid. As we'll sort of learn, Alice is a theater kid. I think he was in theater with Alice, but always played sort of a minor role on stage compared to the others. But yeah, was always happy like just being there with his friends. And he uses he, him pronouns. Yeah, always just happy there to be with his friends, sort of gangly and awkward, but is starting to come into his own now that he's moved away. He's sort of finding himself. And yeah, my background question is, what kind of teenager is Alice? Established that Alice is a theater kid, but that she's also like a somebody who tries their best to like be good. Oh, sorry, we've got a barker outside in the backyard now. Tries their best to Alice tries her best to sort of be as perfect as she can be, right? Like she tries to do everything the best that she possibly can. So that is Charlie and Charlie's background. Let's jump to let's just move the same order. B, let's jump to you next.
All right. You jump back and forth a little bit. So like, should I start with?
That's okay. Start with your character.
Okay.
Sort of some stuff about your character, and then do your background question for your character.
Perfect. So hello, I'm going to be playing Dakota. I might have a last name, Dakota Travis, but nobody calls me by my last name. It's just Dakota. When I become a star, it's just going to be Dakota. Dakota is a short, gangly young girl, pronouns she, her, also an absolute theater nerd. She has been gunning for the number one lead role in the school play, but oftentimes teachers and others around her just think that she's a bit of a joke, and that her jokes are really bad. Like nobody finds her humor funny, but she persists, and like her friendship with Alice is so smart and so great and so talented at at everything that she does. And Dakota's a little jealous, but it's like a friendship jealous where like I want to see her do better, but also help me do better.
I love it.
So my background question is, what about Alice do other people sometimes find annoying, but I appreciate? And it's definitely, I mean, she's so smart and nobody likes it when she rubs her intelligence and other people. Like it just, she answers all the questions in class.
Yeah.
You know, she does amazing on her tests. And like sometimes she's muttering to herself. Like I'm positive that's how she knows all the answers to everything. She's just constantly going. It's also a really good acting skill. Therefore, all these little ticks about Alice, a lot of people kind of look down on her for, but Dakota is in awe of Alice. Like
You were saying too that like she like just recites Shakespeare like in her sleep almost, that she like will just run through Hamlet or something at the like just
On our
muttering
lunch
to herself in the
break.
library or something. Yeah. Amazing.
Beginning to
I love
end,
it.
all the characters, everything that they do, the little italic stuff,
Yeah, all the stage direction. Yeah.
all of it.
Love it. I do want to note for everybody here that if you go to the right hand side, there's a little like it looks like a newspaper. It's a journal. And if you open up your character sheet, you can record information. If you just click on
Ooh,
on
yes, thank
your
you.
character name and then you go to your character sheet, you can record information about everybody here. So if we just want to record some stuff about Dakota, oh, and I guess I should have done this before I went too. Some stuff about Charlie as well. So Dakota, you're like small. You said small, small and gangly.
Yeah. Black, big hair.
Think she's funny.
Probably
these
still has
notes
braces.
private that we write in these little things?
Yeah, everything's private that you write in here.
So I could use paper also.
You could if you want to. Yeah, for sure. It's just there for convenience. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Let's jump over to you, Mika.
Great. I am playing the role of Jack Briarwood. He is Alice's older brother.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Somebody just my doorbell. I'll be back. It's probably straight up.
Okay, cool. Jack is a lanky, older teenage boy. He has thick, sandy blonde hair that falls in curls across his forehead. It seems to block his eyesight, but he's always doing that thing that like teenage boys do where they shake it out of their head and flick it aside.
The Sean Hunter.
Yeah. His limited wardrobe consists of band tees, flannels, and a short cycle of 2 pairs of identical old Rip Levi's that have seen so many better days. And he goes by he, him, but he also does not mind being addressed by they, them. He's very protective of Alice. Alice is like one of his closest confidants, but they have kind of a rough life because their parents got divorced 5 years ago, and then their mom had to pick up 2 extra jobs, so she works literally like 18 hours a day. So it's all up to Jack to raise Alice at this point, and it's kind of put a strain on the relationship because he's had to be the adult and like put his foot down sometimes, and it's really put some stress on him. But he spends most of his time looking out for Alice and also really trying to do his best in school so he can get a better job than like working at the diner like his mom does. And for that's actually my background question for Alice as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to play him or them.
How old is Jack supposed to be?
I would say he's probably a senior or
so still in high school, but
just out of high school, probably. Do they have to all be in high school, Spencer?
They don't have to be. You can be a little bit older, but I will say that we should all be friends in some capacity.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like we should all run the same friend circle. So
since it's December in this game, he's in like the last half of his last semester of high school. So
got it. Okay.
He's just about to graduate.
So sorry, I had to jump out. The owner of the dog
Yeah.
saw my post and came over and got their dog. So
happy
dog is
ending,
home
yeah.
safe. I now only have 2 dogs. That's okay. That's okay. I'd rather be home with their dog. Okay, so I missed Mika. I'm so sorry. I missed a little bit about Jack. You want to just give me the high level?
Yeah. Basically, he's very protective of Alice, and he has taken on the role of parent since their mom works 3 jobs. Alice is like his closest confidant, but because of this parental role he's had to step into, it's kind of put a strain on their friendship that they had like a couple of years ago. And he's desperate to get it back, but he doesn't really know how to ask for that because she's grown distance as well.
Amazing. Perfect. Okay. Julia, let's jump to you.
Hey, I'm Julia North, and I'm the secret girlfriend. It just says it on the card, so you guys like know the secret. I don't know who knows the secret, so we'll have to.
We will establish who knows. Well, basically, it is your choice as to who you want to have know, but also we will forge relationships with one another in just a minute, and that will possibly also inform. Right, there are relationships that can be like, I know a secret about you or something, and that could be that thing. So anyway.
So that's just a description of who my character is the secret girlfriend. So there's more secrets behind that one.
Sure.
So Julia is sort of like she's like a hot topic teen, kind of like she's a little bit goth, but not like full blown, like she's in the metal. She just kind of likes the dark clothing situation and the eyeliner, but she is the same age as Alice. We are in the same classes our freshman year, and we just happened to both join stage crew for the theater together. And I am one of those people that's like, oh, I like play a little guitar, but I don't perform for people. I just like work in the shadows. So that's why I'm there. And I think like, I'm pretty well adjusted I'm somebody who's like has a very like loving family. Everything's like fine, with me, but I just pretend like I have some pain and sadness in my life for show. So I think that's Julia. My background, my appearance, I guess, in anything. Probably like still Asian, but like black, like long hair. Just keep it like so it's like a flowing cape of hair all the time.
Love it.
I wear a lot of tank tops because that's just we gotta like flex your muscles and doing stage crew and lifting up those. I don't know, stage crew things like sorry,
flats and flats and curtains
painting
and things.
Lots of things.
Painting lots of things, of course.
And the background that I have, and you know what, B/Dakota, let me know if this conflicts with what you just said because I can't remember exactly. But I had written down that Alice and I first met when we were working as stagehands together doing painting for the sets. So I can't remember if you said that she was an actor or not, but
I hadn't specified, so that still
great.
works.
Great, I wasn't sure. But that we became friends because we were doing that, and then we're both studying to learn how to do lighting. So like next year we can graduate up to the lighting crew, which is like a big deal because it's difficult and only a few people can do it. And then just we got really close doing that, and like we had some interest, and then we started dating. But it is a secret because we are not sure about how people in this town will act because it's like a small place.
Yeah, for sure. I think I sort of was talking about her being a theater kid in the beginning, which might have been, and I was talking about how I was sort of in the background. I think it's totally fine. I think we make her a stagehand. That's way more interesting to me. And that like I was one of the one of the minor cast members on stage. I know B, you had said that Dakota is somebody who gets bigger roles.
She tries.
She tries.
She might have just secured a big role.
Got it.
I would also say, as a theater person who's theater my whole high school life, that it is a truth universally acknowledged that if you work as a stagehand, you kind of do want to be on stage too, though.
Yes, absolutely. That's great. Yeah, and so I think there's this like bonding that happened between all of us because like I was playing like a part that was super small. You know what I mean? And like so maybe that's how we sort of integrate that in. Awesome. I love it. Joven, let's jump over to you.
Hi. I'm Evan Hallwell. I've known Alice like my whole life. But I kind of stuck around her because she's a good friend of mine. She's really cool. And I know her since we were kids. And now that she went into theater, not really my cup of tea, but I thought, maybe I'll just I'll kind of like maybe join like the crew, but I also don't want to like do anything too extensive. So I'm like part of like the house crew, like I'll take tickets or I'll clean up stuff or
I love it.
Or I shouldn't be in charge of lighting or sound or anything. I shouldn't. But it's pretty cool.
I just want to note how well you're playing. Evan is the one with the crush. So I think we're already seeing Live Without Playing Out, and I love it. So
Correct.
Good.
Evan is the one with the crush, thus the secret girlfriend. I have a feeling that my character has no clue about, is very oblivious to it all. But yes, wanted to stick kind of close to her in high school, even though I might find myself more in like, talking to my friends in computer class or something like she's this person. And because of her and her friends, and now I'm in theater now as like one of these side roles, I'm trying to be cool with her friends, because if her friends like me, then that means I have more of a chance. So,
Love it.
I just try to stay friendly with everyone.
How would you describe Evan looking?
Evan, he's got blonde hair. He's like doing the comb over. He's got glasses. They most of the time stay on his face. They kind of droop down, maybe a little too big for him. Wears a lot of baggy clothes because he thinks that's what cool kids do. It's almost like mysterious. It's like, what's he hiding? Is there a six-pack under there? When clearly there's not. Am I
that's so
reflecting a
good.
little too much on what I was like in high school? Yes.
Possibly. that's how it is.
And then I need to share my background, correct?
Yeah, your background.
Now, the background says on my card, tell us what rumor you've heard about Alice that you don't believe is true. Now, I've known her for a very long time, and recently, I actually, people around school have been saying that because she's like muttering to herself a lot and she's kind of closing off a lot of relationships, isn't very social with like people she doesn't know. And people found out that she started going to therapy recently. So they just think that she's like schizo, and maybe has
They've been
multiple
like calling her
personality.
crazy, and that's something
Yeah.
that has been like, and that's something that's weighed on her. That's interesting.
But like she's not.
Right.
But she's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
But we
she's
all
not.
have there's a thing, and I do want to say let's tread carefully around these kinds of topics just to make sure that we're approaching them in a way that's sensitive and understandable. But I think as long as we approach this with like, this is something that happens in high school, right? Like somebody has something, starts rehearsing, like somebody overhears somebody in the bathroom like reciting Shakespeare. Now they go, oh, Alice is crazy, right? So I think that's the kind of rumor
People
that
just
started.
want something to talk about.
Want something to talk about. Okay, wonderful, great. Well, that gives us a good idea of who everybody is. Do we have any clarifications we need on anybody's character? Anything that we missed? Anything that we want to go back to before we start
Does
assigning relationships?
Evan actually have a comb over? Like,
No. It's just like it's like the
Like
swooped
pushed
over,
over to the
trying to look neat and handsome, but mainly because it's just my mom wants my hair that way, so I don't really have a lot of say so in it.
Great.
thank you. I just needed clarification.
It's a very important kind of question. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Oh, and I do want to say before we were on here together, we've been in an email exchange, sort of establishing some of this stuff. But I want to note on stream that we have established, some lines, and like we've established safety tools at the table. I'm going to go over them again so that all of us are familiar. So everybody at home knows what we're using. We'll be using the X card. If anything comes up during the game that is that we don't want to go into, we can always just type X in the chat, or put our hand up, or do this or whatever, and we will pivot topics from there. That's just so that if we run into dangerous territory, we have a tool to be able to address that. We're also using lines and veils. Lines and veils are a little more precautionary up front. Basically, a line is an area we know off the bat we don't want to go down, and a veil is something that we're okay exploring, but we don't want to make the focus of our story. So there's some built-in veils that I'm going to go over that and also open door policy. That means if at any point somebody has to run and give somebody their stray dog and move away from the computer for 5 minutes, it's okay. Just let me know, and we'll make stuff work. But if for some reason you have to go or something happens, we have an open door policy. There's no harm, no foul. Okay, so the veils that we have established already that we go into the game with are we're going to veil gore and violence, so avoid describing any in detail any harm done to Alice. There can be bad things that happen, and it's okay if we talk about those things that happen to us or to others, but let's just like avoid going into gruesome detail in that regard. We're going to veil sexual non-consent. So this is like drugging, coercion, physical force, threats. If we approach any of that, let's just be very cautious with how we proceed in that regard. And we're also going to veil victim blaming. So characters can express like how upset they are with choices that Alice made in some regard, but what happened to her is never her fault. We should never step over that line into victim blaming. Those are the basic ones. Are there any that we want to flag for us? Anything that anybody wants to bring up that we haven't already talked about?
So veil just means be really, really, really careful, right?
Veil means like, yeah, let's just, if we get into this territory, just know that it's cautious. Like, it's territory that has caution, and as like a general rule, we use like a spider as an example because it's a really innocuous way of doing it. But like, if we line spiders, that means no spiders, no cobwebs, no eyes, no legs, no creepy crawlies, none of that. If we veil spiders, it's like we could see cobwebs, and like we could sort of like see glowing eyes, or like have creatures that have legs that are sort of spider-like, maybe if they're off screen, but let's not like have a spider be the big bad boss, right? Like that's kind of the way in a nutshell. Obviously you can see how that would apply to other situations. Great. So we sort of established those. Let's jump into relationships. So if everybody wants to pull up their motive card, their drive card, you'll see you have a motive on that. So that's your motive during the game. That is a motive that you will begin with. It doesn't have to be your motive the entire time. It's just a starting place for your character. You can evolve out of that as you sort of discover who your character is, but it's nice to have a starting point. And then also relationships. These are what we're going to assign. So you'll see you have two of them. There is a line between them. That means that they are separated because you're going to assign one to one person and one to another. Are there any that jump out to us off the bat as things we assign?
For Jack, I don't think you like me. And I would love to use that for Dakota Travis. I don't think Alice's best friend likes me, especially with how much I put my foot down about Alice going out at night, or like skipping school, or like just like not checking in and keeping tabs. I always think that Dakota doesn't like me and is probably egging Alice on.
That's great. So Dakota, are you more of the troublemaker side of Alice?
So the thing is, I'm really a goody two shoes, but I think there's this perception. Again, high school students are dumpster fires at times, and they're just not kind to each other. So I think there's this perception that Dakota is like, because like she makes such bad jokes, like clearly like she smokes cigarettes or just stuff like that. Meanwhile, she would never even go near a cigarette.
Well, it's also kind of the thing where like you never want to believe it's the people you love the most. So Jack doesn't want to believe Alice is the one making the decisions, and so he's always like, it's probably that Dakota girl. It's probably her. She's always there.
Always.
I have been that scapegoat friend in my high school relationships. It's not very fun.
Great. So both of you make sure in your character sheet you note down that relationship that you've made. Anybody else have one that jumps out to them? We're going to assign both, so feel free to.
Oh, so we have to use both of them?
You're going to use both of them on different people.
Ooh.
I think used to be best friends. I think that might be a fun one to give to Charlie, actually.
Ooh, okay.
And because maybe that distance, you moving like that relationship, like are we still friends? Like we don't really talk anymore. Like we're not really jumping on Xbox anymore. Like, but we used to, is this a thing?
I like that a lot. Especially because you used to be friends, or you've been friends with Alice for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably used to be friends when, like, all three of us used to be friends. And we'd like hang out and,
I'm thinking like I grew up on the same street as Alice. So maybe like we're all like in that same walking distance.
Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay. So we're neighbors with Alice. And we used to be friends, but then we sort of had, was it when I moved, or was it before that? It was when I moved. Okay. So when I moved, maybe I didn't even like, it got to the point where like I moved and didn't really even say bye. And then it was like, well, are you like, do you even care that I was like, do you even care that I'm gone? And you were like, do you even care that you moved, kind of thing?
I like that. It's emotionally charged.
Yeah, good.
Like, are we supposed to talk about our
Boys
feelings?
who
Like,
can't talk about their feelings.
We used to be friends until I moved away. Okay, great. Wonderful. Anybody else have one they wanna assign?
I have a hard one, which is you've always been there for me. And I don't know, I guess in this group, who would have done that. I think knee jerk would be like, maybe I'm like really tight with a brother. Is that weird?
It's not weird.
No.
Yeah,
Honestly.
But like, what did you do for me,
Jack
though?
is the one that introduced Julie? No, you guys already met in theater. But Jack is always around at home. So if you and Alice are hanging out at home, Jack is for sure there and always like asking about the day, trying to be the good parental role as the
Yeah.
older brother.
You like always bring us snacks and shit.
Yeah.
And maybe you know
And, like,
our secret, and that you're
Even
just
though
like,
money
you're
is
like
tight,
chill.
I still try to slip you and Alice money to like go get snacks or go to a movie or something.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And I would say, I guess if we have to like kind of deign what's happening, like you would know that I'm the secret girlfriend too. So
Okay. Cool.
You've always been there for me.
Yeah, that's interesting too, right? Because like you when you were over there, Jack was there for you for that, and then like now that you have this relationship, you're like, I told you, you're one of the only people that knows, and Jack is still there for you.
Yeah, I like that.
And so that's a nice kind
Oh,
of
it's very
like,
sweet. Look at this
yeah.
big brother being cool.
Okay, great. Anybody else have one they want to assign?
I think my second one, I'm gonna go ahead and give to let's give it to Dakota. Actually, my second one is, a secret about me that I don't want shared, and I assume that you just overheard it while we're like backstage or just hanging out in theater class. I'm probably like in a wing talking to myself or on a cell phone. I'm gonna let you come up with whatever that secret is, and I will yes and the heck out of it.
I love it. I have I know how you really feel about Alice. The obvious go-to is Julia, but I think that there's
Or Evan.
Evan. I'm less. I feel like Evan's crush might not be as secretive.
I think that's super secretive.
As he wishes it was. So that doesn't feel as impactful, I don't think. But I'm wondering if there's any sort of like anybody who feels because I guess that leaves me with Jack and Dakota. Jack, is there a world in which you would be in which you would feel a way about Alice that is not super obvious? Like is there a jealousy? Is there something there at all? I didn't get
There's definitely a jealousy of Jack losing his childhood, having to be the parent, and Alice always
Still being
having
able
the
to be a
freedom
kid.
to go out and be a kid and like have these adventures. And it's all on Jack's shoulders to like make sure that they have enough money to eat for the week, or to help mom with the bills, or to just make sure Alice is alive and well and like at home every night.
Okay, I love that. I'm gonna put I know how you really feel about Alice. She got a childhood and you didn't. I wonder how I know that. I wonder if Alice told me that like you had a discussion and that was, have you told Alice that? Have you made that clear to her at all before?
Only, I think only in the heat of a moment once recently,
Okay.
but it wasn't like something.
But it wasn't, okay, so maybe it's actually something, Jack, that I found out another way. I mean, it's possible that I was moving away and I came to say,
would I be able to put my second relationship on Charlie?
Sure, yeah.
I've always wanted you to be my friend, and I was thinking that right before Charlie moved away, we started to get close. And I probably told you that one night, like right before you moved away.
Yeah.
Just in like a confidant thing, like he's moving away. I don't have to worry about this getting out.
Right, because I'm leaving. That's really good. Okay, I love that. So
is Charlie like a year or two older than Alice?
I'll say Charlie. Yeah, why don't we do that? Wasn't Charlie be in the same grade as you, Jack?
Okay.
Ooh.
So senior.
Just because if we were all like living on the same street, maybe not like like maybe one of us moved there at one point in time. Maybe it was when we were kids, but
yeah, I like that. Well, and that gives our relationship
kind
of and that gives our relationship something interesting too, Evan, and that like maybe that friendship was almost like, because when you're in school, being a grade older is kind of a big deal. So maybe it was like a big brother, little brother, kind of thing. Like not
like
quite
I had a
that.
Super Nintendo and you were coming over because it was the only place you can play Street Fighter 2.
Exactly, and like you got to hang out with the cool kid. You got to hang out with the older kid, even though he wasn't. I wasn't cool in your eyes. Maybe I was like the, as the kid.
I wasn't getting thrown in a trash can my freshman year because I know this junior.
Because you know this
cool.
junior, yeah. That's really good. I like that a lot. Okay, I got. Okay, does anybody else have one they want to assign?
I have a struggle one.
Yeah, let's talk about a struggle one.
Who am I protective of?
Ooh.
Not
Dakota.
Jack. Jack's a jerk to me. He doesn't give me snacks. He doesn't like slip any money to Alice when we hang out.
I am the
happened.
snack receiver, not you.
I wonder, can I give you some inspo? Am I allowed to?
Please. Oh.
What if you're very protective of Evan because you don't really like Julia and how much time she's taking away from Alice? And you've always liked Evan being around, and Evan's always been like real fun to hang out with. And it's never like trying to steal Alice from you.
Oh,
not to make you hate Julia, but
Someone's gotta hate me.
No, I really dig that because that really solidifies Evan in the group. Because I just kind of imagine him as this kid who joined the theater club to like be around Alice.
Yeah.
And sometimes she's just like, I'm busy. Like, why are you here? So now you can be like, sup, we're hanging out. Like, it's cool. Okay, so I'm protective of you.
Interesting. Okay, I don't know who doesn't have a lot of stuff. Does everyone have kind of an equal number of things?
I only have one that's been assigned to me.
Oh, Charlie.
Because I mean, that could be me giving you one. My last one is Alice has forgiven you for something, but I haven't.
I moved away. I made the choice to move away.
Oh, wait, hold on. But you're like a teen. How did you?
Yeah, but I could live with my dad, or I could live with my mom.
I see.
And I chose to go with my mom.
Okay, so that makes more sense. So maybe like you were really integral to our group, and just when you left, I felt like that really broke a lot of stuff. And even though like kind of like we're fine now, maybe how long ago did you move away?
I moved away a year ago.
Okay.
So I'm okay if things aren't fine. Oh. You know what I mean?
That would make more sense gameplay wise.
I'm okay if like things broke and I didn't say bye to people and I sort of just bolted, and I made a decision last minute to move with my mom away from here, and that was not something that everybody expected me to do. Everybody expected I would just stay here because I had the choice, and I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's good.
Is that cool? Okay. It's
sort of similar to Evan's though, isn't it? Because Evan also is mad at you because you left.
Like, he didn't say bye or anything. I thought we were really good friends. It's kind of messed up.
So we're just kind of doubling down on you, which is on Charlie, which is I guess fine.
Which is okay if you want to.
Yeah,
or we can
there's
explore
like tension
different.
about like one of the friends that left in the group, where there's like two that are like really excited to have him back, and two are like, so is this still a thing?
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, that's very real for some teen angst.
And to go back half a step here, Dakota, you are protective of me, and I also gave you the a secret about me, so I don't know if those are going to.
Oh yes, they will.
Okay. Making sure we were all on the same.
Oh yeah.
Love it. I might just solidify that relationship that was set up with Julia, because I don't really want to have a third antagonistic relationship. So we've never gotten along. Julia, you and I have just never seen eye to eye. I think that and you might be like, Alice has forgiven, like that whole discussion of like Alice has forgiven you. Like, Alice and I were really good friends, right? You became friends in our group. You and I never really were friends, but you saw that Alice and I were like I was somebody that Alice leaned on for stuff. And then I left, and you sort of saw the repercussions of that. So maybe it's less so that like, you know what I mean? Like with that relationship, maybe it's less.
It's that you double fucked up basically. Like,
you and I just like, never really got along. Like we never really clicked. And so there's that sort of thing that, there was that side of it. And then I also moved away, and then it was like, all right, this guy that I didn't even, like, now you are sad because he's gone. Like, what is going on, And I don't know.
Yeah, that tracks. It's good.
Okay. The other thing about these that I want to note is that they are one directional. So Julia, you could make the choice if you wanted to not feel like we never got along. I could be like, I thought we never got along, and that could be reciprocated by something else. You know what I mean? Like it is a choice that we have, that we don't have to make those two-sided. So whatever you want to do there.
Yeah, I'll give it a think, because I know,
Yeah,
like,
think about it.
I think I've decided that I don't know that Dakota doesn't like me. I think we're like fucking cool, and you're way more mad.
Theater.
Okay, I'll give it a think.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else have one they want to assign?
Yeah. I know you. I know you don't care about Alice as much as I do. Jack.
Man, that felt like that stabbed me somewhere. I'm like, oh jeez.
Jack, you've never given her snacks. You're always blaming me when I'm around her. You are not a good parent, brother. So, you know, sometimes when she stays out, she's sleeping over at my house because, like, I don't think you care about her. She gets quality snacks like cucumbers and carrots at my house. Sometimes there's peanut butter and celery.
I'm sorry, we can't afford that at our house, Dakota. We got Cheez-Its and that's about it. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay.
It goes so along with I don't think you like me. We just do not like each other.
No.
Great. I think Dakota, I think you and I probably have like that's probably like, you and Jack are probably my go-tos here, as far as like people that I lean on for stuff. Just as looking at the landscape, it looks like Evan and Julia are going to be the antagonists here. So just making sure that you have like people that you can go to with stuff, and also people that you have like an emotional or like conflicting relationship with. If anybody needs to clarify those things, now is the time to do that. If we want to like figure out who those people are.
Can we forge a bond quickly? Like, can it be like a quick scene-based thing? Because I think that'd just be easier for me to attach to something.
Sure.
So you live next
to. I mean, I'm one of the like members of the ensemble on stage. So it could be something where like we've just hung out backstage a whole bunch, and I don't have to remember lines. When everybody's like studying lines and stuff, we're just like hanging, you know, throwing gum at the wall, seeing if we can get it to stick, right? Like
kicking a hacky sack.
Kicking a hacky sack around.
Kids.
Yeah.
This is too real. It's hurting me.
Perfect.
Dakota, I think maybe you and I decided we were going to sign the wall. We were both going to sign the wall next to each other when we left.
Signing the stage.
Yeah, signing the stage.
Yep, here comes the cringe feelings. Right. Back in high school.
So good.
Freaking everything in me has to like launch into stories. I just can't. I can't do it. There's no time.
We'll do it afterwards. This is what this game does. It just makes you feel like I'm in high school again. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to solidify before we move on?
I guess to be clear, Julia is like not. I don't really like Evan. I think I don't really like Charlie. I think me and Dakota are cool, but we ain't. And I think Jack is like my second best friend.
Also, I have no clue that you don't like me, Julia.
Perfect. I love it. I'm gonna be so mean. I'm gonna cyberbully you so much. It's happening.
I'm close with Julia. I'm close with Charlie. I really don't like Dakota, and I'm like okay with Evan. He comes over to the house sometimes. I've seen him since Alice and him were babies. So yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like the neighborhood kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the neighborhood kid. Yeah, I like that.
I got that new N64 if anyone wants to play GoldenEye.
Hey, this is the year 2019.
Okay, great. We're going to jump into starting hunches now. So I'm going to move us over to there. We are now going to look at these 10 cards and decide what is like suspicious in relation to Alice's disappearance. So sort of give you an idea of how the game will play. One of these cards, one of these locations, or one of these suspects is going to come out when you get your clue card. So essentially you're going to get a card, you're going to get a card that has a clue on it, and it's going to say like, reveal a suspect, reveal a location, and then we'll go over that when we get to clue cards. But just know like, these are what are going to come out and going to inform the like clues that are forged during the game by us. And so one of these locations and one of these suspects are going to be sort of the answer to who is responsible and where Alice is. So we'll want to put suspicion on each of them, but we don't want to tie them together yet. So we shouldn't be like, oh, I saw Ryan at the Dripping Dagger, right? We don't want to do that. We want to keep them all separate. Are there any that jump out to people here? Any cards that they want to grab?
Nightclub.
Oh, yeah. Let me just read the cards really quick. JB
Okay,
just
cool.
spoke in my ear because they're a little hard to see on screen. So the Lighthouse on the Howling Sea Cliffs is this one, the Dripping Dagger Nightclub, the Old Barn on Cambridge Street, Callisto River State Park, Silent Falls Train Station, and then David Nelson, who's the popular kid, Ryan Groggins, who's the ex-boyfriend, Mr. Halvert, the history teacher, Bria Brown, the bully, and CJ Wallace, the creeper. Those are who we're looking at. Sorry, Mika. Go ahead.
Oh, you're right. No worries. I would love to take the nightclub as a hunch for Jack. Alice has recently been like getting all dolled up, and the only real place in town that I can see her going is to the nightclub. I've probably even heard her talk about it before, and it's where like I definitely disapprove and don't want her going, especially as an underage kid.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be like Jack's starting hunch. Like, oof.
Yeah. Go ahead and right click on it and take it into your hand so it disappears from here. I want to put a little bit of a point on it. I know that you said that you recently been hearing that she might be going there. Is there a suspicion you have of why she might be going there? What it is that she's doing there? Is she just partying? Is she like, is there something, is there?
I think she's definitely like going to party and like try to get out and make new friends. And I think it's really up to no good.
Yeah.
As the kid that's trying to like do really good at school so I can have a career, I want the same for her. But it seems like she wants to spend all of her time like partying and not being at home and not doing her homework and stuff.
So what's interesting is that she's really good at, like we established that she's trying to be as perfect as she can. And I think it's fascinating that we have this kind of duality that's happening within her, right? Like her image growing up, her image up until now has been like goody two shoes, trying to be, we all know that kid, right? Who's like up until junior year it gets straight A's and continues to get straight A's, but then kind of finds a second life somewhere. So I think let's hold both of those in truth, right? Like she starts slacking on her homework, but she's good enough to be able to just do it in the morning.
Yeah, like Jack only really sees a certain part of her because they've grown distance. So he's only seeing the negatives because he wants to stop them.
Yeah. Great. I love it. Anybody else have one they want to grab?
I'm thinking the bully, because I feel like everyone here, based on character descriptions, might not have that many run-ins with the bully. I almost feel like my character is all like, he thinks any attention is good attention.
Yeah.
And I might have had a run-in with the bully also, and there might have been like some conflict there with Alice as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost more of my problem, but also like he's the bully. He's messing with, like, if we're all hanging out as a group, like he's not just going to target me,
Yeah. So I do want to say that Bria, so with Bria, we want to find a reason why she might be like responsible for Alice's disappearance, because she could come out during the game and be like the culprit, right? So like we just need to establish like what is it that Bria has been doing to Alice, or has done recently to the group or whatever, that makes you really if you're like, that's the person, who's
Bria? Did I miss
Bria Brown is the bully. That's the name of the...
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't look at the top of the card there. Because yes, and I think that bully relationship, maybe it's because I am and have been such good friends with Alice for such a long time. She sees that as a weird thing, maybe because she you're always reflecting when you're a bully. So maybe like she sees the close relationships, like you two shouldn't be friends. Like this shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. I do wonder, playing with that there, like if Alice is part of theater and we're all sort of in the theater community, if she's like the one who has the lead, and so she's looking at your relationship, like she's seeing the relationship that we have with her, right? And she's bullying you because you're like the new kid in the theater. And she's like, why is he even here? Like, he doesn't belong here. He's like, not one.
Yeah,
And
now
then
I'm hanging out
also,
with like the talent, and she's maybe like, no, crew's in the back. You're not even real crew.
You're not
so
even
this
real
is
crew.
the bully of the theater group. It's
Yeah.
like fucking magical, man. This is amazing. It's
This is
so good.
I feel like that might tie it into us. So, and maybe even has something to do with like Alice being better than just being a crew, like that people are talking about Alice being better because she can like memorize Shakespeare and stuff. That she like might be threatening Bria.
She could actually have a career in this,
Right.
like outside of this.
And so Bria's like seeing that threat from Alice, that like Alice could actually be a theater kid. That's really fun. She's looking at you and see like, why are you two friends? You know, like
she's like Sharpay from High School Musical.
Yes.
Okay,
This
cool,
is
cool.
Sharpay. This is Sharpay of Sharpay.
Sharpay was the one I had a crush on, though.
Well, that's how it goes.
So I take the card, right?
Yeah, go ahead and right click on Bria and take the card. Great.
This microcosm is giving me so much joy.
Good,
It sparks
I'm so
joy.
glad.
I will never throw it away.
Great. Anybody else have one they want to grab?
I would like to just yes and all of this and take David Nelson, popular kid. He's not the popular kid in sports. He's the popular kid in the theater group. You know that one kid who always gets the lead because he's the one guy who can sing?
Yes.
This is David Nelson, and he's so cool. And his dad's really rich and has a big house, so we always go party there for like cast parties.
Amazing.
Incredible.
So what makes you suspicious that he might be responsible for Alice's disappearance?
So tying in with what everyone said is that people do recognize Alice has talent, but then maybe some people like David Nelson, popular kid, sees that she also like wants to like break free and be like a not straight A student. So maybe he's kind of like targeting her like, oh, well, you're probably like eventually gonna be a cool kid just like me. Let me show you the ropes. And maybe he's the one introducing her to like the nightclub, or I think that maybe they go out sometimes and like don't invite me all the time. And I feel like that's suspicious.
Sketch.
Not in like a romantic way, but like in a, you guys are doing something secret and bad, and like, why aren't you telling me?
Yeah. I wonder if that's like where if with David was like her first alcoholic experience, or like that was where she drank for the first time, was
and like we didn't share that, so
Exactly.
I suspect it was him.
So you're like, oh, he's sorry, he's introducing these kinds of things to her. Let's also like what's something recently, like something really recent that happened that might put a little bit more of like an immediacy on this.
They had started going out every Saturday, maybe like in the last month, and then maybe like the time she disappeared, I suspect maybe it was that day.
Yeah.
I don't know if they actually hung out, but I just assumed they might have.
Could I add on to this about the nightclub?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're getting so specific with the theater route, and her being like a goody two shoes up until this point. What if everyone thinks she's going to go clubbing, but her and David are like going to the nightclub to sing and do performances?
Oh my God.
And so everyone thinks that they're like going there to drink and do bad things, but they're actually like moonlighting in a way.
Shit, that's real good though.
I do want to note, we don't want to tie them too cllosely together this early on.
Right.
But I think that is the rumor, right? Like these are all rumors. Like there was a rumor that her and Alice, that him and Alice are going there to like, or that Alice goes there to party. There's a rumor that there's a rumor that they go there to like perform. Like there are all of these things because technically nobody from our school is supposed to be at the nightclub anyways. Right. So it's like, it's just a bunch of rumors. And so that's sort of swirling. Right. And maybe that's why it's part of why Bria's getting suspicious or getting like aggressive with Alice, is because David is now performing, or there's rumors that David's like performing with her instead of with.
Instead of Bria.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. I'm going to take Mr. Halvert. I think Mr. Halvert's the history teacher. And I think that he has seen Alice sort of like, Alice has always been a really good student, and I think this is a teacher that knew that when she came in, because Alice sort of like had this air about her that preceded her. And in history, that's the one class that she's not doing well. Like she just, for some reason, that is the class that's really difficult for her. And he expected, like maybe not that he expected more, but like I saw him being, or I've heard from her that he's being really hard on her for some reason, like unexpectedly hard on her, and is asking her to like skip stage crew stuff to come in to like after school study sessions, and has just been like really, it's been really, I don't want to go like the full creepy route, like the full like creeping on her route. I think it's more that like he is, I think that he's targeting her in some way, and she doesn't feel like it's fair, right? I think as far as like suspicious things that were something recently that gives us suspicion, I'm trying to figure out how to, because I don't want to like go straight like he's just being gross with her. I feel like we can craft a narrative that doesn't include that in this way, but
Be one of those like teachers that see somebody they want to mentor, but the kid just doesn't want to be mentored. Like they want them to be like what they could have been, and like, but they just don't. The kid's just not about it.
Yeah, I just want to find the thing that like makes us suspicious that he might be involved, right? Like that's the thing that I think that maybe we've heard rumors that Mr. Halvard is like a total weirdo that like runs a cult.
Or not to
like,
tie everything together too much, maybe he's the secret owner of the nightclub.
Well, here's
dating Alice's mom.
Maybe
I was thinking either that or he was like friends with Alice's dad before Alice's dad moved away.
So Alice's mom moved away. Alice's dad is still here.
Oh right.
Sorry. Oh okay.
So I think, well, I kind of want to, let's just tie this all in together maybe. So or sorry, not Alice's. I was thinking of Charlie's. You established Alice's. Sorry. So Alice's
mom is still here.
Alice's mom is still here. Alice's dad moved away.
Yeah.
My dad is still here. My mom moved away. That's the confusion. Sorry. My brain like fuzzed for a second. I heard dad moved away.
What if the teacher is the one that, because Mika didn't, or Jack, didn't you say that they got divorced because your father got caught cheating?
Yeah, the dad, they got divorced because the dad had an affair and left.
Maybe it was with the teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, with Mr. Halvard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also am looking at, I'm just looking at what's the thing that makes it suspicious in Alice's disappearance? And that doesn't necessarily speak to me in that regard. Because it's like, okay, they had an affair and like, I don't know. I just want to find like the little more of a...
Going on like the teacher just being like hard on her for no reason. If she is at this place where she's been doing so well and she's kind of on track to go to a really good school, especially in a small town, he knows the story, but then sees her just like kind of skating by and being okay with it. And he's the one that's like taking too much responsibility. It's like, no, we're going to stop this right now. This last paper you sent in was sloppy. It was a D, hands down. Like you aren't, like if you don't shape up and like really focus, you're not going to graduate and be able to go to that big college you wanted to.
Right.
And maybe there's like a specific, like in the timeline, it's like the next thing is due that Monday and he is like just keeping tabs on her that weekend or something, or I don't know, something like that. Or knows she's been performing and is like, I will go in there and tell them that you are underage.
What if they just don't have any contact with their dad and they've cut him off? And it feels like Mr. Halvard is like a good friend of their dad and he's prying too much into Alice.
So he's trying to give the message back to the dad.
So yeah. I do like that. I do want to explore like a weird side of things too, just to like have it in there. And I think that just because I think it would be fun to explore it, that he is rumored to like have like to have like some sort of club where a bunch of guys hang out.
Yeah.
And the dad is part of that. And when the dad joined that, like it's a gentleman's club, or it's not a gentleman's club, but you know what I mean? It's like
club,
like
or
a poker club,
like an underground
but like
poker
there's
club or
but there's
something.
like weird stuff about it. Like there are rumors circulating about like that they do weird shit in that club,
Yeah.
like in this group. And
They all
the
wear
dad,
pins weirdly.
yeah, they all wear pins, like sort of secret
Red
society
hats.
kind of thing. But the dad is part of that, and and so like when he moved away, he's still being supported by Halvard and the other people.
Got it.
And
Yeah,
and he still comes back into
There's-
town to like go to those meetings and leave. So the dad's still in town sometimes.
Oh.
There's all
Yeah.
some small towns will have like those lodges where like the older guys would like
Oh,
we
yeah.
go to the lodge, drink
Yeah.
with the
My
guys.
There's
dad
one
was
down the
one of
street
those.
from me, but
Hands
egg goes
afterwards.
everywhere. Yeah.
I like
My dad
that.
was
Okay,
part of those, yeah.
cool. So we got there. So basically the thing for that, make sure you're recording on these on the character sheet the information about all
Right.
these. So we're gonna say that the history teacher is part of a weird secret rumors that he's part of a weird secret club or cult thing.
Yeah, why are the dads always going out to the forest with guns? It's
weird. That Alice's dad was also a part of, and he's keeping track of her. And I think that I saw, or I think I heard Alice tell me that he like followed her out to her car. Like she saw him following her out to her car and was like it looked like he was like gonna try and stop her or like talk to her or something, and she like rushed to get in her car and left before he could do anything. But it was like this weird interaction they had just like a couple of days before she went missing. Okay. Thanks everyone. We got there. That was a fun one. Anybody else have one they want to grab?
I'm struggling, so if y'all have some, go for it.
Could I grab Ryan Groggins, the ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, grab Ryan. Tell me about Ryan.
Ryan is like he's part of the sports teams in school. He's not a theater kid.
Okay.
And the reason that they broke up is because in high school they went their separate ways. Like Alice started getting with the theater crowd and Ryan was still with the sports crowd, and they just could never get along or spend time together.
Yeah.
And she's the one that initiated the breakup, so he's been really he's been really upset about it, and he still is seen coming by the house, or like Jack still sees his car sometimes going down the street, even though he lives across town. Even if it's a coincidence, it seems really, really weird that Ryan still hangs out and gives these weird vibes.
That's great. Awesome. Okay.
I have a player question, which is like,
please.
I'm sure we'll get to it, but we don't know all the things that the person who has the card knows, right? Until they play it into the game.
So there'll be a clue card. They're gonna flip that over. I'll show you an example of one of them, but it could be like, reveal a suspect card. This person like went to the police. It's probably the one we're gonna get. Went to the police with a lead. What about this? What did you know about them or whatever? And you have to like provide the context.
So right now, but as a player, like Julie does not know that Jack is suspicious of the ex-boyfriend yet.
So we should all have those suspicions. Like we should share those because
especially if we're friends, we've talked about it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and these like Halvard or Ryan could come out and you could get it. So you need to have the reason to be suspicious as well. So this is all open information.
Okay. Cool.
Did someone still need a card?
So everybody's gonna take two.
I've already taken two.
Okay.
Great.
I thought we had to take one.
I might take the state park then for my second card.
Yes.
Especially if we're like in a Midwestern town that you might be able to do like a small drive. You might have like it's where the high school kids might throw a party. There's always like that clearing of bushes. Like this is where people go to like hang out and do stuff. Maybe it's like their makeout point. And so people know about the state park. It's just a small distance. It's where kids can go to drink and normally not get caught by cops.
Yeah. It's like a big open area. What about it is specifically suspicious in Alice's disappearance?
In connection to that, I think maybe she was talking about wanting to hang out. Okay, so Yeah, me and Dallas were always talking. I kind of want to be hanging out with her a little bit more, but she's talking about how she wants to go. She's going to hang out with let's give it to Secret Girlfriend. So maybe her and Julia, we're going to be going up there, and I'm like, why are you going to go up there? Are we drinking? What are we doing? Like, we don't do that.
Yeah. So they were going there to sort of get away.
I just like, maybe that's like she's just going to hang out. Like, all I know is that she's going there, wants to go there, is planning on going.
Yeah. And that's like it's sort of an isolated, remote area.
Yeah. And that just raises like a red flag, because it's like you go there for like two reasons. It's to make out or to drink beer. Like,
yeah.
Can we pick one of the clues, the cards, as part of our secret, or should we not keep that separate?
No, your secret doesn't have to have anything to do with these. You would just you'll just be working these into the pod as we go.
Okay.
If you find a way to sort of like work it in, then that's great. But don't feel the pressure to.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have one? I think maybe I'll grab the lighthouse. The lighthouse on the Howling Sea Cliffs. I think this is this is sort of like the old abandoned area that Alice would go to do her homework and to like get away. That's where she'd go when she was alone. She'd go up to the lighthouse and just sort of relax. And last time she was there, there was a car there that she didn't recognize, but nobody was at the lighthouse. There was just a car. But yeah, she would go there to be alone and to, I think she'd go there to practice, to read. I think she'd go there to read. That's what it was. Like she'd sit at the top of the lighthouse and overlook the cliffs and the ocean, and that's where she would go to like get away from everything. I think especially when the whole thing with her mom and dad happened, she was spending a lot of time there, and her and I spent some time there as she was sort of figuring stuff out. And yeah, so I know that's we sort of know that's where she goes when she doesn't want anybody to bother her. Cool. Anybody else have one?
I think I'm gonna pick CJ Wallace the Creeper.
Okay.
It's pretty vague what this card says, so I'm gonna extrapolate a little. I think.
Please, yeah.
Sorry, muted. I think CJ Wallace is sort of the local old like crazy guy that sits sort of like outside the grocery store and just like yells at everyone who walks past. Like everyone knows he's harmless. He's sort of an older man, so people kind of assume there's like Alzheimer's happening or something.
Nice twist. I like that.
But he is always there, and I think maybe the last couple times I went to the store with Alice, he started really talking to her a lot more and like knows her by name, and it started to bother me. So I was kind of like, "Hey, stop like going to this local, I don't know, just pick a name, Vaughn's. Don't go to this Vaughn's anymore."
Right.
Alice, like just go to another one because this guy, I think he like has something in he's too interested in you, and I don't like it. And then maybe I'm actively suspicious because I knew she had to go to the store to get something for, I don't know, for Jack or for her family over the weekend, because she usually goes to the store on like a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like a small town, like growing up, like we thought one of the ladies in the apartment was a witch because she was old and had long hair. We never really saw her, so it was creepy. So like you're old and weird, and now the town thinks like there's always just like different legends about different
Yeah. And so this is the local guy that everybody tries to avoid. I like that. Is there something that we can put in his past that makes it a little bit more like you're like, I think he might actually do something?
It shouldn't be as simple as hates all theater, but it should be.
Maybe specifically hates like a playwright, and that's the play that we're putting on this year.
Yeah, very specific. Is there some sort of point we can put on it where it's like we could look at that person and see that they're
maybe he's crotchety because he had like maybe he's like a vet, and so he hurt his leg, and so he's just kind of living off of government money. Doesn't really work, so he doesn't really have that social interaction. Just has kind of been able to doesn't necessarily like his life, but it's like, that's what I have. Like a beer on the front lawn kind of guy.
Yeah, I do wonder if like we've seen him get violent, if we've heard that he's done something, like if there's something in it that makes us go like, that guy might.
Maybe he used to have a cat named Alice, and no one sees it anymore. And then it was found, this is kind of, sorry, this is a little pet violence, I guess. So if you don't like this, please turn everything off. But maybe like the cat was found somewhere.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, did he just kill his cat? Oh my God.
Right,
his name's
right.
Alice. So it's like a little too
on the nose.
But yeah, and also because like it's a wooded area, like could have been a fox, but also that dude's creepy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just something that we can use as like that rumor, that fire starter. Okay. Let's do the rest. Who hasn't grabbed the second one?
It's me. Okay, so hear me out. The old barn on Cambridge Street. I think it's a clubhouse. It's like a multi-club clubhouse though.
Okay.
So like there's like 3 different clubs in there. One of them's they're definitely old white men who just talk about like money and how much they don't like their family. Then there's the club for, I need like vaguely suspicious clubs that would be in here, like what's a little bit more culty if possible, like it's like a really suspicious MLM. Go ahead though.
Yeah.
MLM on Sundays, all the ladies in town get together.
Oh my God.
They try to sell each other stuff, but it's really just a gossip about the town.
With leggings.
Oh my God.
it's one of those fitness MLMs.
Yeah.
I found one of those recently. Not good, guys.
Oh
no. Maybe quail hunting.
Hunters. They could be like
a hunter's lodge.
Young hunters.
Yeah, hunter's lodge.
Yeah. No, I think that works.
Is that where? Do we have like a location where those guys are hanging out with the teacher? And
well, we shouldn't tie it too closely together, but we could say that that's somewhere that we can vaguely say, right? Like that's a place that they've definitely been seen. We don't know whether that's like their headquarters. I think they're too secret society to like have a publicized headquarters, but maybe.
Yeah. All the wives just know. It's like, they left her the thing. Where's it? I don't know.
I don't know. Care. Yeah. But so there's like a hunter's lodge and there's like an MLM thing there. What about it is suspicious in relation to Alice's disappearance though?
I mean, a hunter's lodge is really good because I think there's maybe been 2 recent hunting accidents.
Mm-hmm.
One was an actual hunter, and the other one was just a student that was wandering around in the forest alone. Their cell phone had died. And it was just a really bad accident.
What if also someone had broken the locks on their gun safe recently and something had been like taken, or like one of their guns had been
I was going to say, since David's this popular kid in theater, maybe it's like, we can go to the barn. Like one of the clubs, like I can sneak into where the guns are. We can shoot guns like at night. Like if we're going to do Annie Get Your Gun, might as well get our gun, right?
Possible guns.
I do wonder, if there's like, okay, if the gun, do we like that the gun case was broken into? And I do wonder too if we make that kid who got hurt a little more suspicious than like, it was just an accident, as instead of that doing like he doesn't remember what happened, or
like he says that someone shot him, but the gun was lying near him and no one else was around.
Yeah, like something weird and suspicious like that is kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay. So hunting accident, wandering around alone. Kid says he was shot at, but nobody was nearby, and the gun was on the ground. Okay. Yeah, just trying to give us like some major suspicion points for there, and then we do need to tie Alice in like even deeper there, because right now it's just kind of a place. It wouldn't be somebody's like that's absolutely where she is. So let's figure that.
I would love to actually steer the kid accident away from like a trigger warning kind of self-harm situation.
Okay. Yes.
Say like a bullet hit a car that was traveling down the road, and when they got out and looked, it was the kid and a gun nearby. and he says that someone else shot the gun and he was nearby. And
I
he
like
went
that.
over to look,
Yeah.
but it's kind of obvious that he was the one in the area and nobody else was around. There was no other footprints and stuff.
Yeah, kid says a gun fired at the at a nearby car.
And that kid is the chief of police's son, so he'd get in trouble.
What about Alice? That's the big question here.
What if Alice was like in the car or like it was fired near Alice?
I actually like that Alice's car was shot at. That's kind of interesting.
How old
So
is she? She's 16. I think
She's
She can
16,
drive.
and she has a car in this world.
Okay. In the country, you can drive when you're 13 or 10. You know. So
Yeah.
it's-
So
I mean,
so
come
Alice,
on.
yeah. So I like that. So it was a car was shot at. A kid was there. He's like, I didn't do it. The gun was on the ground. Nothing ever really came of it. I do like putting a little more of a question mark on that kid being responsible because we don't know who that kid is, and they're not going to be the one who's responsible for Alice's disappearance.
Should
So
we
it's more
I mean,
name this
in
interesting
kid?
police
to me.
reports, you'd have to hide minors' names. So
Yeah,
that
so
could
we just know
easily-
there was a
yeah.
kid nearby, and there was a gun, and Alice's car was shot at. That's what we know. Okay, great. Last one is the train station.
I always get stuck with this one and I never know what to decide.
Oh no. Okay.
Literally never. Like my heart is just like people take the train and never come back into town.
Runaway train.
Maybe Alice wants to go see her dad and needs to take the train.
Ooh.
I mean, Jack could definitely like find train tickets in the house laying somewhere and like never confront Alice about it. But
Yeah, there's been train tickets that have been left at the house, and
Like
she's
for a
been going
future date.
somewhere. Yeah.
Or just stubs from like she's already done this a couple times, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I went to go visit dad. Like, what? And so, like, if she's gone, like, maybe that's Jack's like almost go-to, like
Initial go-to.
Yeah.
go to
So
the train
Stubbs-
station, go see dad.
Laying around to go. Maybe there's a recent one that how when you get a train ticket, when you get them printed, you have to like take that ticket and then they like rip it or whatever, and that's what you have.
Yeah.
Maybe there's one that was like for the night that she went missing, but it isn't ripped.
right, I was gonna suggest that like it's the night she went missing. It hasn't been used, but she's gone.
Right, exactly.
And so there's suspicion there of like who stopped her or what made her not take the train.
Right.
Did she like lose the ticket and like she just had to get a new one, so we don't know if she actually left?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe how have we decided how far away her dad moved or any of this stuff like?
No, we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, I mean that can be like a group decision. It doesn't just have to be Jack.
I think
or
it's.
Al.
I think if he's a train right away, I think an hour train right away. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Kind of
Like
like
still where she could
like
like
if we're in a small town, he probably moved to the city or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that.
Okay.
Train
still
ticket,
close
that's
enough to
fine.
do weekends or something with the kids.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, those are our starting hunches. I'm just gonna take this one because it doesn't really matter now that we've taken all of them.
Oh,
And we're gonna move us to the clue cards. I'm actually gonna go ahead and return all those cards to the deck, so you'll see them disappear from your hands. Don't worry, you don't need them.
hold your panic.
Okay. Hold your panic.
Oh, no.
Call. Shuffle.
And it doesn't matter
card.
that they were ours. We were just the ones making the story about the card.
Yeah,
right?
and really what it was is just so that people didn't forget that one had already been taken.
Got it. Okay. This is
Okay.
cool. Very
I'll
collaborative
recall.
storytelling.
Yeah. Okay, so these are all of our clue cards. So I'm going to take the 90 cards since it says give this card to Charlie Barnes. And then I'm gonna go down the line here from me. So Joven, why don't you go ahead and take 80?
All right.
Michelle,
we
why don't
don't
you take
turn them over
70?
yet.
You don't
Right.
don't look at them. Yeah.
Take it. Okay.
Great. Jack take 60, Dakota take 50, and then we'll circle back. I'll take 45. Joven, if you want to take 40, and down the line.
I'll
Yeah.
take 35.
You take 35.
I got
Nikki,
30.
You take 30, and B, you take 20. Great. So these cards are our clue cards. These are when basically there's a number on the back between 90 and 20. When the timer that we're going to have on our screen hits the number that's on the back of your clue card, you will look at it. So when you open your hand, you'll notice that like they show up there. Just don't, I mean, they have a bunch of text on them, so it's hard to like actually fully read them. Just avoid reading them in full. Avoid reading them like, you know, outright until you start. But if you need to check their times again, there you can go into your hand and look at like I have 90 and 45, so I know, you know, when my cards need to be turned. Is that clear to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to pull out an example one so everybody can see kind of how this will work. And I'm actually going to switch us to the next screen to do that. You'll notice there's a 10-minute card here. This 10-minute card does not go to anybody off the bat. It will go, it will end up in somebody's hand by the time the 10-minute mark hits. So somebody might reach out and go, hey, take the 10-minute card. If they do, just right click, take it into your hand, and then wait until the timer hits 10 minutes to be able to reveal it. Cool?
Cool.
Cool. Okay. Let me pull an example 80-minute card. So I'm just going to flip this out, turn it over, make it big. Yeah. Okay. So basically, this is like a really good example of something that might come up on one of your cards. So it might say reveal a suspect card. This person just posted something suspicious involving Alice to their social media account. What do they post and why does it not sit right with you? Right. Okay. So you'd be able to then draw. If you look on your right-hand side, and the audience at home probably can't see this, but you all can. You have your suspects and your locations here. You see both those decks? Mm-hmm. If you get a card like this, it says reveal a suspect card, you're gonna mouse over the suspect deck and then pull a suspect out. And you'll see it'll pop up there. I'm gonna get rid of this card. And then you would combine these two pieces of information. So reveal suspect card, Mr. Halvert. Mr. Halvert just posted something suspicious involving Alice's social media account. What do they post? Why is it not so right with you? You're going to take that information and you're going to work it into the conversation in an organic way. That is the main mechanic of the game. That is basically how the entire game is going to go. There are some things as we get more near the end of the game that will be different. I'm going to go over that with the people that have those cards very quickly, but just know that's the basic mechanic. And you'll take this card and you'll put it in the suspect spot, right? So if I could have everybody just mouse over the suspect deck and grab a suspect, and mouse over the location deck and grab a location and just drag them onto the playing field so that you can kind of see how that works. You'll see when you mouse over it, a little one will pop up. Yep, you'll just grab that one. Oh, so you actually flipped one. You can grab that and drag it onto the table. Yeah.
Do what?
Oh, it's all good. One of them got flipped onto the deck as opposed to being pulled out.
Did I do that?
It's all good.
I don't know if I did that or not.
You'll see there's also multiple versions of the same person. That is because somebody can come out twice. They can be responsible for 2 clues.
Should we hit draw or just drag? Click and
So
drag?
you're just gonna mouse over the deck, and you'll see a little card pops out the top. Grab that card that's popping out the top and drag it onto.
Oh, I see the
If
little.
you
Okay,
click it, it'll
I see it.
flip it in the
I thought it was a bug at first. I was like, why is it showing the same image above it?
Right. No.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
that's to grab that card.
I'm just dumb. It's fine.
Is everybody clear on how to draw cards and place them on the table?
Yes.
Good. Everybody's
Yes,
good. Okay,
this is
great.
Very cool.
So I'm gonna grab another location just to make them even. So then the person who has the 30 card, which is who?
I think that's
has
me.
the 30 card.
I
Mika, that's you. So you're gonna when your 30 card on your 30 card is gonna tell you to flip over all of the suspects and then turn one face up, shuffle them and turn one face up. So I'm gonna have you practice doing that really quick just to make sure you're comfortable with it. So go ahead and it's gonna tell you basically to shuffle them, right? But we don't have a good way of shuffling in Roll20 that it doesn't involve like actually putting everything back into the deck. So instead we're gonna flip them all here, shuffle them all so you don't know what's what. Yep, and then you're gonna put one on that end cap spot and turn it over.
Okay. I'm just gonna grab this one. Mr.
Great.
Halvert.
Perfect. And then you'll want to just lay the rest in because there are cards that can flip more of these suspects.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So you'll just lay them all back in. Great. And then B, you're going to do the same thing on your 20-minute card, but with the locations. So if you want to practice doing that with the locations, just so you can make sure you're comfortable with it, flip all of them over, shuffle them up, and choose one. Good. Cool. Okay. So those are the main mechanics of the game. That's like the core of the cards that you're going to be using. The only one that's that's left to talk about is what's called a searching card. I'm going to pull those out right now. Searching cards look like this. If you look at the right side, you'll have your suspect, your locations, and now you'll see a third set of cards.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull one out so that the audience can see what it is. This will give you something that you find at a location that that is like suspicious or weird. We should use these sparingly. These are sort of injections of adrenaline in the plot. They will also draw heavy attention to whatever location you're at. So don't use them like overboard. But if you're basically, if you go, because what will happen is some cards will be like, go to a location, reveal a location card, go to that location after X amount of times you find X. Right. And if that happens, you know exactly what you find there. But if Charlie wants to go to the lighthouse, there's not really anything for me to find there necessarily. So I could draw one of these searching cards and decide whether that's something I want to work into the plot. You don't have to work it in, and you would take it into your hand if you did. But it is like a thing that you have at your disposal if you're at a loss for something that you might find at one of these locations. Oh yeah. Sorry, it's off screen for everybody. So that's so one of them could be like $10,000 in a duffel bag. You could see how that would like immediately espouse some suspicion of that place and of of this situation. So we don't want to like overboard them, but they're available as tools for us as storytellers if we want.
Gotcha.
Them.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Everybody good? Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and erase it. Awesome. The last thing we're going to do before we take a little bit of a break, because I know we've been going for about an hour and some change now, we're going to go over the game guide. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to jump back into the game, starting the timer and starting our chatting together over messages. So let me pull that up really quick. Here's the game guide. If everybody wants to go to the handout section where your character sheet was, go down to the handouts section and click game guide. It'll pull it up. JB, you can probably do that on your side too if you want to make it big. I'm just going to go over these. These are like good things to keep in mind before we start. So, and this will be available to you in this section throughout the game. So today is Saturday, the first day of winter break. Everybody except for Charlie starts the game knowing Alice was last seen on Wednesday 3 days ago. Players may use parentheses to communicate anything out of character during the game. So if you need to remind somebody, like, for example, I might message you and go, hey, make sure you turn over your 30-minute card or your 50-minute card or whatever, because sometimes we get so invested in the game that we forget to turn over those cards. If somebody says something you want removed from the game, you can reply with an X to signify it's been X carded. Very simple, but just if something comes up and we want to get rid of it, we can just put an X and then change it. It's okay to have moments where nothing happens. Silence can and will occur during the game. When the group chat goes quiet, consider initiating private conversations with other characters. My favorite part of this game is talking in the group chat and then breaking off and talking in all the private chats. Make sure you try and talk to everybody at least once during the game, everybody individually, at least once, as well as in the group chat. This is kind of just a logistical thing. Two characters can never be in the same place at once. If they would be, create a reason in the narrative for them to never meet. We just have to have a reason to text each other. Otherwise, it's like, hey, let's all go to Julia's house, and then we all show up there, and then why are we texting, right? Like, so there has to be these built-in barriers of like, we can't be in the same place. Now, does that mean we can't be like in the same area? No, we could both be at the lighthouse as long as we find reasons in the narrative for us not to both be able to chat in person, right? And these rules, that rule sort of also lightens up near the end as we're all rushing towards a single place, and that's okay. Just as long as at the end of the game, there's a reason for us all to still be texting.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. It's okay if it takes you several minutes to answer your clue card. Try to share it before the next clue card is turned over. If you can't, just convey it at the next opportune moment. This is, again, one of those things. It's like, you might look at it, you might get a combination to be like, I know exactly what that is. You might also get a combination to be like, ooh, I have to think about that. The only thing to note is like, there will be another clue card coming. We don't want it to get overshadowed by what you have. So just make sure you try and answer it within like 5 or 10 minutes.
And again, all of that is done through chat.
All of that is done through chat. So you'd be like, in that last one, it'd be like, hey, did you guys see what Halvard just posted on Facebook? Like, it's whatever, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Make sure you tell everyone the information from your clue card. The answer to your clue card question will determine how the game's narrative evolves. There'll be moments where you'll get information and you'll be tempted to share it with just one person. I will advise for the plot of the game to move along smoothly that you're going to want to share it with everybody, because those clue cards, the answers to those clue cards, like literally form the culprit and suspect, or culprit and location that Alice is. So if like the lighthouse never comes up in the group chat, but suddenly it shows up as the final card, it's got to be narratively cohesive for us. So as storytellers, we need to work that in. Okay, after these 90 minutes, we'll be leaving our characters behind forever. Because of this, you want to find a way to reveal your secret to at least one other person, if not the whole group, by the end of the game. So your secret is secret now, but it should not remain secret. You should find a way to work it in the conversation by the end of the game. This one's pretty straightforward for all of us, but it's in there just in case, it needs to be. You should investigate and speculate based on the clues you receive, but you will not find the information that actually leads you to Alice until you hit a certain clue card trigger. You can't just be like, hey guys, I found Alice, she's at whatever, and then the game is over, right? Like your clue cards will lead you to finding Alice. There will be a path there. Don't worry, it will happen. We will get there, but don't jump the gun there. You won't find Alice's cell phone or car unless you draw a card stating that you found it. Some of the clues refer to those things, so just don't bring them up as you having found them unless you get one of those cards. Leave the suspect and location cards you reveal face up by their decks. This is basically just saying make sure you don't take the card into your hand. Make sure it goes onto the table. So if you accidentally take it into your hand, drag it back onto the table because it needs to be shuffled in the final sort of round. If for any reason your character is hurt or killed and can't text for the rest of the game, you can give anyone heading to your location information about what state they find you in using a direct private message. If this comes up in play, the card that triggered it will tell you what to do. You can be hurt, you can be killed, it can happen. If it does, usually the card will say stop texting. What that means is you have to stop texting as your character. That does not mean that you stop texting entirely, because you need to let somebody know what has happened to your character and what state they find you in, so that when they arrive there, they're able to RP, right? Like they're able to know what happened and play off of it. So like send them in parentheses like, hey, this is what you find, this is what's happened, this is where I am, this is what's going on with me, or whatever. That way we can still play out those situations despite the fact that you can no longer text. Is that clear?
That was stressful, but yes.
Yes, cool. Good.
I was not told we could die in this game until like an hour ago.
You can get hurt, you can die. When the timer hits 0, players may write one last in-character message before the game ends. There will be a little like alarm that goes off on the timer, and you will hear a song start. The voicemails will then begin over the top of that song. You're able to send one more message, but that is it. After that, the game is done. I know that's a lot of information, but don't worry. Once we get into playing, like it's all gonna just be background. You're just gonna be talking with everybody, and when you get one of your 2 clue cards, when the timer hits one of your 2 clue cards, you're gonna turn that over, grab the suspect or location, whatever it references, and then you're off and running. So that is the whole game.
Is there a definitive like location and killer that we're trying to figure out, or is it just like
it
the story
will
around
evolve out of the story? So essentially, when they were shuffling the suspects and the locations and then drawing one, that will be the suspect that will be the culprit, that will be the location where Alice is. And the way that sort of functions is that if a card comes out twice, like David Nelson came out twice, they're a much better chance of being chosen during that card shuffle. It's
like a detective's board with all the strings connected to it.
Yes.
You have them all on your board, but at one point you're going to get the definite evidence that like one character in one place is the culprit.
Got it. Exactly. Sort of reverse clue in that way.
Okay.
Okay, great. I think we should take our break because we've been chatting for a long time. I feel bad we went over, but I promise it's gonna be worth it. So Jibby, are we cool to take like 5-10 and we'll come back? Okay, cool. Awesome. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Goodbye. And welcome back. I'm so excited to get started. We are just about to hit play on our timers and start our game. But I just want to make sure, does anybody have any last minute questions? Anything we want to clarify? Anything we want to talk about before we jump in?
Have a great game.
Yeah, GG, don't kill me.
No promises.
I'm excited to cry with all of you.
Okay, so basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch over now to the timer. So if all of you will flip over to the timer for me and have that up, just so it's ready, and then I'm gonna have all of you mute. I'm gonna stay active on voice just for a minute. So once everybody hits mute on there.
We're talking like mute on Zoom, right?
Yeah, go ahead and mute on Zoom, yeah.
I mute through like little thing on my desk, so you
Okay.
won't see a little.
No problem. Okay, I'm gonna count down from 3. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, start. On start, you're gonna hit start on the timer. JB, are you ready? Great. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, start. Here we go. Have a good game, everybody.
Went down to the river, washed my sins away, and pray, 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 and pray for another day. I went down to that river, washed my sins for free. The devil's on the other bank, staring back at me. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. Another nail in my coffin, another nail for me. I gotta look pretty when I go down. Another nail in my coffin, can't you spare one more? I gotta look pretty when I'm knocking down heaven's door. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. My cigarette. You ever seen a dead man talking? No, you haven't seen one yet. I'm a dead man walking, 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 I'm a dead man. I went down to that river, washed my sins for free. No one seemed to notice as I stared. I went down to that river to wash my sins away. I was thinking of you in that wedding gown. I went down to that water to wash my sins away. The world faded away as I went down, 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 down. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man.
Hi, Alice. It's me. Yeah, I was just wondering. Well, it's me, Evan. Just to get that out there. Yeah, I was wondering since I helped you with that box and everything. I don't know, maybe if this Friday, after you're done with if you're done with all your studying and stuff, maybe you and I can go see a movie. Some cool stuff coming out this week. Could be fun. Yeah, and maybe if you want, we can do like food before or after. Cool. Yeah, just let me know. Yeah, I think that's it. So Friday. Yeah. Let me know if you want to go to the movie. Cool. All right. And yeah, this is Evan. Evan Halla. Okay. All right. Bye.
Hey Alice, it's Julia. I know you know it's me. Listen, where'd you go last night? I don't like it when you don't call me right away when you get home, and I'm sorry if that makes me a pushy, overprotective girlfriend, but that's me. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, but listen, there's something I gotta tell you. It's kind of weird, but we can't meet in our usual spot, so just come out back to the gym before school starts, okay? Don't worry, it's not a big deal, but I'll talk to you later, okay? Love you. Bye.
Hey Alice, Dakota here. I just want to say, last night was so much fun. I've never snuck out of my house before. I can't even imagine what my parents would say if they found out, but you made it seem like it was no big deal. And then the concert was so much fun. I think one of the band members sweat on me, and I've never been more turned on. I hope we can hang out some more. You know, you're a really good friend to me. Honestly, you mean everything to me. Without you, I don't think I would have any friends. Honestly. Thank you, Alice.
I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I came by your room and knocked, but your door was locked, so I assume you must already be asleep. Or you're just extremely mad at me still, which is fair. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be. I just wanted to apologize for how I handled everything. I know you wanted to go see your friends, and I should have said yes and let you, but I think I was just trying too hard to fill the parent shoes in the house, especially with how much Mom has been working lately. I didn't realize there were other pairs I could have tried on first, like the cool older brother shoes, or the fun uncle shoes. Okay, actually maybe not those. I'll stick with my own, the cool older brother shoes. Anyway, bad metaphors aside, I am really sorry for everything, like truly, and I want to make it up to you. Maybe we could go by the diner tomorrow and catch Mom on her lunch break. It won't be like family dinners or lunches at home, but it'll be a start at least, and I think we just have to work with what we have. Anyway, this is getting pretty long, so sleep well and text me when you get up. You can even yell at me when you get up. I don't mind. I deserve it, like I said. Anyway, love you, kiddo.
Hey, Alice, it's Charlie. I'm just calling because I'm packing up to come down, and I wanted to see if we could find some time to hang out while I'm there. I really miss you. It's been a tough year without you. And I know there's some stuff going on, and I don't want to get in the middle of it, but also like I'm here. I'm here to talk about it. Anyway, we'll hopefully get to catch up when I'm there, and you can tell me all about it. I miss you, Alice. All right, see you soon. Bye. How are we? You okay?
Fuck, dude.
We tried to warn you.
Hey, there's nothing you could have said that prepared for that. Oh my god. Woo!
Okay, well, I'm going to take us to the debrief because that will hopefully help us to flush out some of these feelings. And the first question is just like, are we okay? Is everybody feeling okay? I know that there's a lot of stuff that happened, and that's yeah, we got it. Not a bad ending, so that's good. It was still an okay ending. Alice was alive. That's
Charlie!
Damn, boy.
Charlie!
I know. I like made up with him and everything, like
know.
on a sidebar that you guys didn't see.
yeah. That combo with Julia was.
He was just shot. We don't know.
We don't know. Well, that's like I kind of think the next question actually is the next question on the debrief is like, are there any loose ends in the narrative we need to tie up? Let's talk about it. There's so much stuff that happened. Oh my god.
I think the obvious. Evan and Alice gonna go on a date next Friday night.
Okay.
Whoa.
Evan makes everything
She
about
was
him
right there.
Just feel like that's what
Well,
people have been asking.
I was
I think that's
confused
what
about
Evan
the end
thinks.
of the plot because it was so because it was texting and we weren't really getting
Yeah.
a full description of what was
Definitive,
happening.
yeah.
So hold on. So just to be clear, so Charlie
Yeah.
and Jack went to the not lighthouse.
I didn't go to the lighthouse. Jack went.
Station.
Jack
I went to the lighthouse,
Mhm.
and I got accosted by CJ Wallace there.
Right.
And then Alice was found at the train station.
Okay, that's what it was.
And I arrived at the train station and looked around and found her like jacket sort of sticking out of a maintenance closet thing. I think I thought it was a maintenance closet, and I opened it up and it was like a stairway down into like a hallway, and it was super dark down there. And I went down and saw her in like a shaft of light and was like, fuck, I see, like she's down here. I don't know. I saw that she was like bloodied, and I ran down to find her, and like she was alive. And then I heard Ryan talking on the phone, asking about what just happened at the lighthouse. And then CJ showed up at the maintenance hall and like closed the door and was calling for her. And then that's when they found me next to her.
And then when I arrived at the train station, Spencer sent me a message saying like, hey, Charlie is shot. They're in the maintenance corridor. Wreck their shit, Jack.
Okay.
So
There was so much
then
happening. I
had,
could.
like,
Yeah.
I had like a minute and a half to play with of finding Alice and finding Charlie shot and just resolving that.
Yeah.
It was.
How
I
did-
mean, it's my
how
first
did
time
you-
playing, so I was confused about which of that you two did was improv and which of that was in the card that you pulled or whatever.
Fair.
Yeah, so my 10-minute card was you find Alice unconscious at 8 minutes, flip another one of the suspects. This person also arrives here. The face-up suspect
Oh.
is the culprit, but flip another one at 8 minutes, and this person is also here.
So CJ was the culprit and Ryan showed up.
Ryan's the one who was at the
Gotcha.
train station, and then CJ was the culprit already. We already knew that he was involved in some capacity, or at least that's what we inferred. And it said at hold on, let me find the card just so I read it exactly. The face-up you find Alice unconscious. The face-up suspect card is the culprit at 8 minutes. Flip another face-down suspect card until you get someone other than the culprit. This person is also responsible. They found you here. Warn the others before it's too late. At 2 minutes, you're captured and can't text anymore.
And I'm the one who flipped the CJ Wallace card as the culprit. It was my 30-minute card. And that card says, they are the culprit. This person finds where you are and tries to break down the door or get you while you're alone. What are they shouting that makes you know they took Alice? And then at 15 minutes, I was supposed to flip a coin. On heads, I escape or get them to leave without harm. And on tails, I get away, but not without a fight. So I was leaving. He hit me with his car as he rushed out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
It was very well done, both of you. I was like,
How-
where's the
how-
lot?
How did you know when to go to leave to go to like the train station that you knew like, oh, I need to progress this story?
So somebody got a call that Alice is at the train station. Dakota got a call that
Okay.
Alice was at she got a phone call, and it was like, there's trains, there's like, you know, that I can hear a train in the background, and she has to be at the train station or whatever. And so then we were like trying to find somebody who could go. And I asked Julia if she could go. And Julia was like, I don't have a car. I can't go.
And I couldn't go because I was barricaded at the lighthouse.
Yeah. And so,
To be fair, I was
and Evan,
confused.
yeah.
I was confused about like characters like not flipping a card and having that say what we do. So I didn't know that I could just like do shit. I didn't realize that I could just like go do a thing.
You're allowed to like explore and leave your house at any time. Cards will just give you locations to directly put the plot on.
Okay.
But like, yeah, that's why
I mean, it
Jack
still
was
worked. Like,
I'm gonna
totally
go check
fine,
his
but-
house. I'm gonna go check the lighthouse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check this.
I was like, wow, Jack's getting a lot of cards, and I didn't think about it too hard, but I was like, oh, I think I'm playing this game wrong. That's why I asked him this.
Yeah,
No,
and
that's
private
okay.
chat. I was like, what am I doing?
I also pulled a searching card during the game, and that was someone is following me. I can't tell by whom, and I was easily able to like work that into being Creeper Wallace.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I love
awesome.
that came back.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, and then obviously like I headed over to the train station after they gave me that card, and I just had to like play up that I was driving there. So that worked out great because I was already talking to somebody. I don't remember, somebody about stealing my dad's keys or like
that was me.
Yeah. So we were having that conversation. You were like, just leave, dude. I was like, I can't just leave. You know, my dad, like he's gonna kill me. And then all of that went down, and I was like, because I was like, my dad has chains on his car right now. Like he has chains. He just won't let me take the car. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to steal the car. So so that actually like worked out story-wise. That I was already having that conversation with Evan and just pulled the trigger on it.
Can we talk about how sad I am? Okay, I deadass thought that Evan or that Jack was gonna die. So like I was saying sorry because I thought you were gonna die, and like Dakota couldn't live with herself knowing that she was a jackass to Jack. Something was gonna happen. So our last moments is just a lot of Dakota like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to wish you were bald. Like, please be okay.
I can't wait to see these PMs because like there was clearly stuff happening where no one was in the group chat, and I was like,
"Yep,
are y'all talking to each other about me?"
I'm pretty sure Jack told every single person that Dakota's lame, and he said,
oh yeah,
like
you fucking hate Dakota.
I defended Jack hardcore to Dakota. She got mad at me, but I screen capped when you said what was it? I have to find it because it was so good. It was perfect, Mika. It was like so perfect. It was Dakota was talking shit, and I was like, yeah, it's like, I think he's just bad at being a brother dad. To be honest, he doesn't act like a brother. He's not cool. He's just dad and tells her what to do all the time. It's horrible. She's smart and talented. She doesn't need that oaf telling her what to do. And I said, he's not that bad. Look what he just said to me. And I posted a screenshot of you saying, Alice deserves the best, dude. You know that just as much as I do. A few years is worth making sure she's set. And I was like, he's putting off going to school to make sure she's going to be okay. He's got a good heart, even if he's a little bit overbearing.
I had the thought of doing screenshots and like stirring up some drama or defending people, but I was like, oh, that'll be too much for me to do right now.
I couldn't do screenshots, so I did put Evan on blast for the box thing. I was like,
That's great.
Secret box.
That was good. That was really good. And I'm so glad, Dakota, that I as I still call you by your character name, that I gave you the secret, because I remember having that card and not knowing really how to do it, because I knew if I would talk about there is this box, like it's so much of a plot point that people would think like, oh, this is like a card he flipped or something. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Oh, it's a gun.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting because that ended up being her dad's gun. And there was a whole conversation between me and Jack at one point, and then me and Dakota. And then I outed it in the group chat. That was like, my secret was her dad contacted her via email and was like, hey, we should set up a meeting in town. I'm going to come into town. And I want to meet up with you. It was weird because he doesn't really email. Like he would have called her. He wouldn't have emailed her. And so that was like weird and suspicious, but she was excited that he was finally coming back. And it was like this whole kind of thing. But I think that it was Ryan. Right? Like Ryan set her up, and that's how she gave a fake email address and emailed her and was like, hey, I got an email or whatever. Will you come meet me at the train station? And then, so I think that's how that sort of collided.
I'm curious.
Motives. I think mine was very simple. It was just like, never mind. I clicked stealing by accident on Roll20. Holy crap, I can't read it. I think it was just like, I defend Julia, or I defend Alice no matter what.
My motive was interesting, and I unfortunately didn't play too far into it because just where the conversations wound up going, I think how the characters wound up building. But it was you want to find the blame for Alice's disappearance, someone who's responsible, maybe even someone here. And once we were there were just too many good sus outside characters that the only way I was able to kind of play into the thing was like, all right, maybe it's my problem. Like it's my fault that
broke my heart. Evan.
That like this all happened. So it's like I was trying to like find some responsibility. Yeah. And I think I went to Dakota. Yeah, it was you and I that had the conversation. And then I thought the character would really try to play up the emotion of it. So I also went with Michelle to talk to her about it. And it was a very different conversation.
Sure
because
was.
I still don't know the secret girlfriend thing, but everyone knows like, oh, I'm into the girl.
I'm just so mean to you. I'm just like, fuck off, bro.
Dude,
Julia
was like saying some shit about Evan. And Jack was like, no, he's a good dude, super harmless. He just doesn't know the situation, Julia. Don't be so hard on him. And she was like, yeah, whatever.
For those that go back to watch the VOD of this, watch mine and Julia's conversation in the beginning, because like she like straight up like we just were like talking in gifs. She's like, don't even try, and I just couldn't
so mean
stop
for no reason. I'm like pulling out like Kimmy Schmidt gifts to be like, no.
I'm like, no, me and her, we were vibing, like this is a real thing. And she's like, no.
Oh my goodness.
If you want to talk mean, Jack destroyed me in the beginning. I was ready to cry. I'm an only child, but I felt scalded by my big brother.
Listen, Dakota, at one point, I was like, I'm really sad Alice is missing. And then Dakota goes, Alice still has all my Xbox games, like the discs. And Jack was like, so your priority right now is Xbox games. My little sister is missing.
So good.
There were so many good. I'm trying to remember like there were so many good comments, especially like we really got into the group chat. At least I did, like fell into the group chat by the end of it. There were let me pull. I have too many tabs open. Let me
I think the pacing of the group chat is what really goes to show how well this game works, because it really does hit the moments of the story and like the music to kind of back it up, where obviously in the beginning it starts to really, that's where it's all at, then it starts to trickle away. And the moments where at the end, like our third act climax, it's just blowing up. And then Charlie doesn't show up. And then messages stop coming in. And then just everyone who's not there is like, wants to know what happened as it's like dying down. And I think just the pacing of the group chat shows you the magic of the game, which is fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is like the clue cards ramp up near the end and then drop off again. So you get like a 45 40 you get it's like 60 50 45 40 35 30, and then you get 20 10. So it's like you get this sort of arc, right, that happens right as things start to ramp up, right as we find out where she is and who's responsible. Like it's all this barrage of text, and then that 10-minute card just like flips the switch at the end there. So I'm so glad that pacing works, and yeah, thank you all for like yes-anding everything that we did, because I felt like we had so many cool moments that like collided as we were like able to listen to what each other were saying and form it into like a cohesive story.
And it just goes to show how important that world building and character building section is at the top. Yeah. Because there was stuff that I saw that just kind of like popped up in conversation, then kind of disappeared, but it still felt very natural. It
didn't feel like we had to make it all up on the spot.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's not like, all right, you're this guy and this is what you think. All right, good luck. It really did kind of give more to that conversation. I think going back to read the conversations and like this debrief is, I think, really, really great too, because it's like, oh, fuck, that was the thing that was happening way over there. Yeah. Meanwhile, my character's being so selfish over here. I don't know.
Evan.
Dude, anytime Evan would bring up, what if she's dating Ryan? Do you think she's dating anyone? I think she might be dating someone.
So much.
Jack went to Julia and was like, hey, Julia, I just want to make sure you know that, like, Alice only had eyes for you. I don't want you second guessing anything. Just...
Oh, that's so nice.
But then my response was, yeah, I know, I'm fucking great, and he's a dumb shit. I don't give a
trying to be so sweet. And she was like, yeah, I have no doubts.
Yeah, Julia's very confident about her
Julie's
relationship.
very confident. There was a part where I'm like, where is it? Oh, it was so good. It was right before you got real with me, Julia. It was like, oh God, it was where you talked about being super cool, and that's.
I mean,
oh yeah. When you were like, Alice and I were together, you know, like a couple, and I was like, wait, what? She didn't tell me that. That's amazing. You're like, okay, first of all, I'm very cool, so don't act so surprised. I was like, wait, holy shit, I'm so happy for her. No, I'm not surprised. You're very cool.
I look forward to like January of next year, me seeing Julia with Alice and just being like, nah. It's not a thing.
You can't fight me, I'll kill you in the ring.
Michelle, you were so good at just like adding to personal relationships. Like at one point, Jack said, oh, I'm so nervous, I want to throw up. And she's just like, you cry when you vomit, so probably don't throw up. It's fucking weird.
Oh my god. Oh, that's great.
Honestly, like, okay, I'll be real with you guys about my professional RPG career. I'm not a really good improviser. I just say what I actually want, like, think about stuff. So that's Michelle being like, when people throw up, they do cry a little bit because it hurts.
Uh-huh.
I literally was thinking about the reason. I'm like, well, when you throw up, what happens? Crying.
Yeah.
Acting is only reacting.
I love it. Okay, well, let's move through the debrief. We can continue talking afterwards if we'd like. But just to sort of separate ourselves from our characters a little more, I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far, which is good. We're laughing and having fun. But what's something from your character you'd like to carry with you? What's something you want to carry with you? And then what's something you want to like leave behind? Does anybody have something that jumps out to them?
For Jack, I would love to leave the self-loathing behind.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get to do it too much in the main chat, but he blamed himself for Alice missing because of the big fight they had right before she went missing on Wednesday. And he was like really beating himself up for that, like hardcore.
I tried really hard to get your spirits up, but you were,
it was my motive. I had to blame myself.
Yep.
I think the thing I'd want to leave back, I don't think I can, because I did find it very easy to slip back into young Joshua Showtime Ovenshire in high school. and it was those quiet moments where they're just like, I don't feel like I'm a part of the conversation. Well, let me make a joke right now to kind of fill that void. And like that's where all like the gifts were coming from, and that was like my way to like communicate, to kind of like emotionally feel attached, because the moment I felt like I wasn't in the conversation, I felt like the world was out of my hands. And especially like what I do day to day, like that is me. I was like, oh fuck, the moment I'm not in the conversation, I feel like everything is out of my hands and I'm no longer doing what I should or want to be doing. And that was a moment where I was like, time to make a GIF.
Like the fire GIF when the
oh yeah, this is fine.
So good.
I was so angry in character because I was literally watching this place burn, but it was so funny out of character that it was like this dissonance inside.
Well, because like up to that point, I think my character was just like, no, this like everything's gonna be fine. Everything's fine. This is literally on fire right now. Like,
oh,
this is fine. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Like how do you make this real? You joke about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I should just like get this off my chest, but like I think I cried a lot in the Charlie scene because we're getting a little real, but I'm dealing with a lot of loss right now. Like not just like friends leaving me because they have their own lives to live and they're moving on. It's really hard for me, but also like I've had some friends pass away. So when I was talking to Charlie, I felt like I was like going through my own therapy of like we didn't want to leave you. It's okay. And like that really that's why I cried so much, because I was thinking about my friends, and it's good to go through it like
Yeah.
in a game setting, because you kind of like you're working through it really logically because you don't actually know this person.
Right.
And I think it's helpful. It's good. It's like some good therapy. So thank you.
Well,
Spencer.
and that well, thank you for putting yourself in a position to be able to have those conversations. I know that it's not easy to do that in a game, and it's especially not easy to do that when you're streaming a game.
Yeah.
It's a very personal game to be streaming, and so thank you for being open with that. And that moment that we had where you and I connected, and I basically I confessed to Julia that I fucked up. Like, I shouldn't have left. Coming back here made me realize, like, I never should have left my friends, and I made a decision in a moment, and it wasn't the right one. And especially with, like, I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, but like with quarantine, with all this like lack of connection with friends, like, and people moving away, like I feel you, like it's one of those things that was tearing at me. It felt so real. It's interesting because I just moved up to like Santa Clarita area.
How dare you?
LA a little bit. And it felt like that when I made that decision of like, oh man, am I never going to see my friends again? Even though I know it's only like a 20-minute drive, it still felt like it had that. So anyway, it's interesting that you and I both had that. Obviously,
without even we didn't talk about it. Yeah,
we didn't talk about it at all. Obviously, like
there's
there's more of an emotional weight on your side for sure, in that, and it would hit you in that way. But it's interesting that both of us had that resonating with us in our lives, and both of us sort of had it come up in the game. Anybody else?
Good, man. This is cheaper than therapy. It's free.
Yeah.
I like how in 90 minutes we did a better season of Pretty Little Liars than
a season of Pretty Little Liars. Yeah.
Jevin, I don't even get that reference, but thank you.
I think I want to leave behind the conflict I had at the beginning, especially with Julia and also with Evan. Evan, there was a moment where you didn't see it, but the audience did. Where was it? Hold on, I want to pull it up, and I want to leave it behind because it was Charlie's inability to admit to somebody that he messed up, and he ended up doing it to Julia later, which is how that conversation happened, because it like finally broke me down. But Evan, you and I were having a conversation, and I said, we're talking about CJ, or no, we were talking about Ryan at some point, and I was like, I'll go walk down the street and make sure he's not still driving around. That was when he was driving around. I got to get out of here. My dad's driving me crazy. And you said, yeah, man, let me know if you see his car or something. Sucks, because I was talking about something else. I can't remember what it is. But he's like, well, hit me up. We can catch up. And I wrote in the chat, I wrote like an apology about because you had like talked earlier about me leaving and not saying bye. And
I started off our conversation before she hit the fan. I was like,
yeah, I brushed by it, and I like wrote out an apology, and then I erased it and just said, okay. And then I came back because then I left it and I was like, I can't just do that. And I just put miss you, dude. And you did like the patting head gif.
Yeah.
And I want to leave that behind because it was Charlie's inability to like make good what he did wrong. Like, it wasn't his fault that he moved necessarily, but it was his fault that like he didn't even check in with his friends, and then even when he confronted about it, he didn't even make good. So yeah, I want to leave that behind.
What about you, B?
Always stuck last.
What broke you in half?
I mean, I would, again, the beginning conversation with Jack, like if we're gonna read some conversations out, like the first 10 minutes of this game was just me going back and forth to chat, opening it, leaning back and staring at it because I was just so frustrated. Like, it was so mean.
You're right.
All right, hold on. Hear me out. I think it was just the savagery in which Jack kind of went at Dakota, and like with good reason. Like, I'm not going to sit here and argue back and forth with you. When you have something substantial to contribute, let me know. I went back to that statement like 4 times, like ready to type something. I was like, I don't think it'll go well.
That's a good line. Jack wrote that. That was me. That was a Mika line.
Yeah.
That's a good line.
Oh, it hurt. It broke B and Dakota. Like, I have nothing to come back to you with.
We started out strong with Jack being like, hey, I'm not going to be mad if she's hiding out at your place. Just let me know if you're lying. And then Dakota being like, you don't scare me anyways. And Jack was just like,
let's go. Yeah.
Jack texted everybody that line like, did you hear what Dakota said to me?
I think Jack said that to 2 other people and was like, can you believe the gall of Dakota coming at me like that? Do you think I care?
Oh my gosh. So I want to leave that behind.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I think what I want to take with me is like doing what's right, even when it's wrong. In some way, like that I stole my dad's car keys to like run out to go try and save my friend, even though I knew that there was somebody that was potentially dangerous on the loose. Like that sort of like bravery, I guess, and want to help my friends despite incredible circumstances. I think it's something I want to carry with me.
Cool. For the thing I want to carry for Jack is his ability to like love and be selfless for the people he cares about so much, especially like the conversation that he had with Charlie saying like, Alice is still going to be in school and I'm graduating this year and I'm totally fine to take a few gap years just to make sure that I can look over her and watch out for her. And that, like, he was giving up his childhood for her, and just the ability to do that on the drop of a dime and not even think about it. I would love to take that because I get very scared myself sometimes of like loving selflessly.
Yeah.
And that would be, I think I'm going to take that from the table.
I honestly, when you like, I said that to Dakota, but like that line hit me so hard. I mean, I was almost crying at just that. So thank you for that. That was a really special moment. Anybody else have stuff they want to take with them?
I can't really think. I'm having a really hard time. I liked the character of Evan as he was in this world, because like if you were watching like this as a movie or something, I think that Evan, I like to build characters out of weaknesses and kind of just let the weaknesses drive. So essentially they're just flawed people. And so that means that there's not a lot of positive in that character. So like Evan was like, he thought he was always making it about himself. He was always trying to like get his point across while being sneaky with it, but everyone really knows. And even though this entire situation had nothing to do with him, even like him thinking like, hey, I had a gun, and like that had nothing to do with the situation. And I think that's really cool about the character because he adds to this situation, but as like this ensemble character that just thinks he's really a part of it, but he's not. And so like when I try to like find something that I want to pull from this character, I'm like, nah, you good. Stay over there.
Yeah, that's totally valid. I mean, there are things we don't want to bring with us from our character sometimes, and I think that's if we're abstracting it right to like it could even be something like to know how to play a certain part in a story, even when that part isn't the center of attention.
It's what
right?
Yeah. And I think when there's a reason why ensemble characters are so important in pieces is because sometimes just one line will set a tone or set a relationship, or it's sometimes the second thought where you go back and you're like, oh, well, these characters have layers. There's these other things to it. It's just important. Yeah.
Well, as an ensemble member of the school play that we were putting on, I agree. Great. Anybody else?
I guess like go ahead,
oh.
Dakota. Sorry.
Mine's really short. Dakota just like was offering some nice compliments for a little bit in the beginning because her mom said compliments are nice to give out. So
Aw.
like, I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, other than that, she was
Take
kind of
that.
the follower.
There was a moment where you were being a little too nice to me because you said about like sending a selfie over,
Yeah.
and I felt like the character's thought process was like, she hitting on me right now. Like, is she? Have I been like going for Alice? But I was like, nah. And I even like played it off. I was like, lol. Like,
So
you're
funny.
joking, girl.
That's hilarious.
Oh gosh, no, I was protective of you. I think that was mine. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like you're nice to the weird guy, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, she's in love with me."
It's the one,
I
yeah.
You messed
did
up,
it.
Evan.
Man, talk about jumping into fucking character.
Yeah, right. This does something to you. I think there's something about like, I mean, Spencer, obviously you made the game, so you kind of understand like the psychology behind. You read your card. You're this character. You talk about your friends about the character you are, and then you're making the game together. And then when you're texting, it's almost like it's easier to. I think for a lot of people, it's easier to act when you're texting because we act as humans all the time via texting. We say we're fine. We're not fucking fine. We say like, oh, look, isn't this cute? Even if we're like, I want to kill myself. I'm so sad right now. Like you say things that are not what you really feel. So in this way, the kind of like the RPG portion of it is so natural to anybody who has never done like, an RPG show or hasn't done a lot of role play. So it felt like even more real somehow because I could like reacting to these texts from an avatar that is like a little blue picture is so it's visceral. Like I just really felt everything that everyone said to me, and it was really nice.
And
bad, but
it's not like the first time when you sit down at like a D&D table, it's like, am I supposed to sound like a dwarf right now?
Right.
It's like you can text it, and all of a sudden, like it's not
easier.
as difficult. Yeah, you slip
and you
right
have more
into that
time
place.
to absolutely. You have more time to like think,
super
delete.
lost as well. Like I forgot we were streaming for most of that.
Me
Mhm.
too.
And as someone who's been streaming for like years, I'm always aware that I'm on camera, but during that, no.
I didn't
my
look,
brain
yeah.
it was weird.
Mhm.
yeah.
I can't remember. Oh, we're supposed to talk about what character is carrying. But anyway, I'm sorry.
You want to carry with you? No, please.
Like forgiveness is very important, and that was really nice. And I think in general, I found in the last couple months, I really enjoy RPing characters who are super competent, like know what they're about, and are just like kind of cool with just saying who they are, because that's not me as a real person. I'm always like hiding. I'm hiding little parts. No, I'm always hiding little parts of myself, and I always feel afraid to say like, hey, that was like not like fucking cool at all, or I think I did a really good job and I should just say that instead. I'm like, I mean, I tried really hard, but like I don't know, maybe it's not very good. And I think role playing these characters who are like, I'm a cool ass bitch, so like obviously duh, like it's really, it feels silly, in the moment, and it's like funny, but also as like a woman and a person of color and somebody who's just, I'm not used to saying anything nice about myself, it feels like really nice to be like, it wasn't fake, but it felt nice, like, and I'd like to make that go into my real life a little bit more than it does, because it never does.
Yeah, bring that with you. Well, I love that. Is there, I know we could probably talk for ages. Is there anything else we want to do on stream before we leave? Otherwise, we can shut stream down. We can continue talking, making sure everybody's good. But obviously, if there's anything else we think we should share from our game that the audience might find interesting, that they maybe didn't see, or that we should chat about, let's flag it. Otherwise, we'll.
I'd love to just say that I personally think Charlie survived. He got a non-lethal gunshot.
Yeah, I'd like that.
But Ryan, jury's out on that. Who knows how much of his shit got wrecked?
I told you to wreck his shit. I expect that you wrecked his shit. I love it.
When Jack was confident that Charlie and Alice were okay, he went back and wrecked Ryan's shit.
Yeah. Good. I'm so glad.
Did Ryan kidnap Alice? Is that what it?
That's kind of, I think, what it was. Yeah, he like lured her there and then kept her, and then CJ was there as like he like recruited CJ as like a an extra hand, I guess, or as like somebody who he knew he could get to do stuff because he was a crazy old man.
Do you think maybe the first attempt at that was when Alice went to help CJ with something in his backyard?
Yes,
She
that's
left
exactly
before
what it
happened?
was. Uh-huh.
He like lured her in and was like, help me with this. And then
tried to grab her, and then
called
that
her
didn't
his
work.
little kitty, and she was like, I'm done.
I'm
out.
out. Yeah, for sure. Oh, and then there was a whole like shoot. I don't know if the shooting had anything to do with it either, but like there was a lot going on that could have been tied to that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Well, great. Well, thank you all so much for putting your hearts and souls into
thank you
our
for
game
letting me
tonight.
be a part of this.
Yeah, of course.
I'm always
so
down to
glad.
play more Alice is missing.
Oh, thank you.
All the time.
Thank you.
So good.
Okay, well, let's go around and just share socials where people can find us before we log off. So, B, let's start with you.
Yes, hello. My name has been Zelda. My pronouns are they, them. You could catch me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. Add an extra underscore if you want to follow me on Instagram. I stream 5 to 6 days a week. So like, just check out my schedule. Come hang out with me. Come play some games.
Love it. Mika, let's jump to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mika. You can find me on every social media site as RIP Mika, like rest in peace Mika, because I usually die in games that I play.
This time it was me.
This time it was you. I stream most days of the week, and on Wednesdays I am in a TTRPG that just launched last Wednesday called The Unleashed. It's a complete homebrew world, and I'm loving it a whole lot.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. We've put our heart and soul into it for 8 months now. So.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's incredible, really.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Michelle, it's up to you.
I have been Michelle Bradley, and I'm on the internet, I guess. Find me on Twitter at @IamChubbyBunny, and that shows all the stuff that I do. I do 2 RPG shows a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays on different channels, and I also do on Fridays, most of the time, a deep dive into video games on Button Mash. So that's all there.
Great. Joven.
At the Jovenshire on all the things, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I do stream some Baldur's Gate recently, actually getting into the D&D vibe. But what I would say is, if you like tabletop stuff and you like a different take on D&D, you might want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I'm actually working on a 6-figure project for D&D right now.
Wow,
so
cool.
Q1 of next year, we're going to release something really big. So if you like D&D and you like role playing, you want something a little bit different, we're tackling something I think you'll like.
Love it. You can find me at Spencer Stark on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find the games that I make on renegadegames.com and huntersentertainment.com. For all of us from Hunters and from all of us here playing tonight, I just want to thank everybody who joined us for the game. I know that this one can be a little bit rough. And so if you if you were with us the whole way through and you gave your heart and soul just like we did, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And this game means the world to me. It's something that I spent a long time making, and has spent even longer play testing, putting my brain through the ringer, running it over and over and over. And so to see it launch into the world and see so many people enjoying it truly just means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. I think this wraps out Roll20 Con too. So I hope that you enjoyed the con, and stay tuned to Hunters Entertainment on Twitch. We do a bunch of stuff all the time, and we'll be doing more soon. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.